I have lost hope because I talk from experience. Among those who were rejected because of the manner of who do you know? How far have you gone? So I don't speak just because I hear it outside, but I'm a victim.
Now, what do you anticipate to do even after your formal education?
Uh, to me, I think that it's better when you create, we become job creators than job seekers. Because nowadays, when we are waiting that they should employ us, I don't think that we'll get jobs. Many young youth today. Like right now, me, I don't know whether my education, I don't know whether I will be a teacher in a certain school, but what I lay a foundation on is that I become a job creator me myself. I can begin with agriculture. I can begin with projects like video projects and other things in order to contribute for your home education. And then lastly is that nowadays youth we despise there is a difference between laziness and despising jobs. So nowadays we despise jobs. Like let's say they give you a job to go and work as a hotel attendant. You always feel like you have finished, you have your degree, you might have had the first class or second class upper, and you find like for you can't fit that job, and that despising of jobs, like you feel like you want to be on top yet you are nowhere so far. It has made us young youth to lose jobs and be in this naggy life. So better fight up on every youth, work hard, be job creators than job seekers. Don't despise any job. When you get a job, you're given 100,000. You do it as you exceed in other levels you need.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Your names again?
Agmeni Toronet, a student at Shambogo University.
Okay. Then hand over the microphone there. Thank you so much for your input, Mr. Council Godlive Nyangaro. Oh, I think he's on his way. And Nyenda Yondijoko, whoever has input, you can come.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Nakonda Demian, a student of Royal University of Science and Technology of Shea. By the grace of God, I'm the good president of Royal University. Though, let me first talk about the course I'm offering. I'm offering Bachelor's of Business Administration in the last year of study, last semester. So, as Ronit was saying, some of the factors are almost similar to what she has said, but I have some points also to add on. First of all, as youth, we are focusing so much on office work or office jobs, whereby for us as students, we are thinking we're supposed to be doing, we're supposed to be having such jobs similar to what we have studied. Yet in actual sense nowadays, offices are very few compared to the students. You find like 1,000 students have graduated from like Makerere, from Chambogo, but find like that office that needs such students, two of offices are they available compared to the 1,000 students graduated. So in line with that, I do request you always have a creative mind. Even if you have 1,100, you can start something. There is a quotation that says, poor family is not a problem, but a problem is dying as a poor. So even if you have 1,000, when you have a creative mind, you can do something that is profitable. So that's why some of us are neglecting what we're supposed to be doing. We are going into seeking for jobs. We need jobs which are expensive, and of which some of us are from poor families or in a humble background. As she has said, now to get a job is who knows you, or you're from which family, you're from which place. So meaning, we students, we youth, we should focus so much on having a creative mind. Even if we have 1,000, have something to start on. And two, there is misuse of capital. You find like we students or we youth, we think even having 1,000 is not so much needed. You find like you need 1 million to start something. And as I say, even if you have little, think of what you can start. Because you may not get that amount of money that you need at the moment. So if you have 1,000, you have 2,000. Get aware of how you can have something from that 1,000. So that, because they say one by one makes perfect. So let us start with the little that we are having to reach to that extent where we want ourselves to be. Another point.
As you end up, eh?
Yes. As youth, we have realized that even the ideas we may be having, you find like you have an idea of starting like a salon, but you find yourself you don't have that small capital to start that salon. So you realize that we have ideas, we have skills, but to get that little capital, to get that little money to help you to start that is also a problem. So as youth, though we need to have these creative minds, but we are as well we have lacked some of these things simply because we are lacking some capital to have such kind of ideas to be implemented. So lastly, there is we are lacking social capital. Nowadays, to get a job, you must be having a lot of friends surrounding you, so that when there is somewhere a job, you have someone to connect you there. You may be studying right now, but if you at all you don't have social capital, if at all you don't have friends surrounding you, I'm assuring you may not get what you want. So let us create a mind. Let us create social capital that will help us have such kind of jobs available. Like nowadays, I may say we are more than 100 here, or almost 100. Let us have some numbers. Let us share ideas on how we can have social capital. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let us welcome our Lord Bishop. You're most welcome. And thank you so much for gracing the function. Yeah, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, those of you participating in this. And I again want to tell you today, Zokugamba Hashina Kakwate Nana Youth Unemployment. How best can we as young people tubasata futuro mu nseji tukugira icyo twakora icyo kira hachituruho. The problem that is the youth is just ibura ry'enumo. And we have always focused hakurondera imirimo yari mu offices no byange bindi. And uko abagenyi bitu bizire neja shabu mutarize kutembera umushara twargo mu gihecho we shall have twaza kutandika our formal program because tumanya ngo my Lord Bishop ayinde bintu binje byari kuzakuzamu twenda kumperezo opportunity akagamba nimwe ashitshina kakwate na youth unemployment.
Nyangaro Prosper, nyondo banyeta Christine Komjuni, Municipal Commercial Officer. I'm not a co-MC, but I'm a program leader. So, niza kushaba muyerekeze dino kubasabanya kubona ndeze bishop ayino kwa kuza kuyijamo bwanyuma kuka ubunkure hatino ruko bishop requesting you to give us at once. Yes. Thank you very much.
I greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Shall we all stand? Heavenly, mighty, and holy Father, we stand to say thank you for today and for this particular moment. I thank you, Lord, for these young people. I thank you for the purpose for which they came and organized us. We thank you, Lord. We don't take it for granted that we are here, alive and healthy. We thank you, Lord. We bless you, oh God. We pray that you open our hearts as we share, as we learn from one another. Oh God, may we take from this particular place that will help us to be better, productive, and fruitful members of this society. May we enjoy the life that you have given us. May you, Heavenly Father, illumine our minds and quicken our understanding and teach us. We thank you, we bless you, and I pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you very much. Take your seats. Once again, I greet you, and I'm happy to see you. And it's always my pleasure, young people, see young people. It's always my pleasure. Since I was young, I've been associated with ministries to the young people, especially when I served as a youth worker and then chaplain in college and in Barra University of Science and Technology. I also served as chaplain in Berry Hill High School. So the youth have been at my heart. I sincerely appreciate the organizers of this very, very important. Is this a seminar, a workshop, a symposium, a workshop? I would like to register my heartfelt appreciation to the one who invited me, who actually happens to be one of my students. And I'm so glad to see her perform. Yes, you can give it up for such a relationship. Now, I am a leader, and I would like to share briefly with you from my experience and mine. And if you want to take note, go ahead. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I had, this idea of empowering the youth. What a great idea. Young people to be empowered, and I want to say what a privilege it is that you can know what you are going to know when you are still of this age. When you are still at this stage in your life.
past. And maybe you recollect something about the history of this world. If I asked you, if I had time, I would, to name people who came to this world and put something new that never existed. But in a nutshell, just think about those who invented. Talk of a telescope, talk of an engine, talk the Wright brothers who came up with an idea of an aeroplane. At that time, of course, it wasn't as sophisticated as the Boeings today and all that. Think about those people who came up with ideas and for medicine to handle different ailments in this world. Think of someone who worked with this bulb, sat in a lab, thought critically, studied physics, and came up with a bulb. What about this particular instrument that I'm using? He thought, how can voices be extended? And he came up with this. This is wireless. This is something prior to using it happened. I can go on and on. There are people, both on a wider scale and on a smaller one, who came to this world and left something of use. Now, young people, you think about that. By the way, even locally, Madam Hope, someone who omuntu wakozere eshekuru. You know eshekuru? He invented something. He said, how can we separate, how? And he sat locally here and came up with a shekuru. Numuhini. Listen to me. You have capacity to come up with something new. In fact, recently, you remember when COVID was at its peak, one of the professors here at Mbara University of Science and Technology came up with some medicine, okay? Some intervention, COVIDX. And many people were helped because of that. Listen to me, you have brains to create something new. I want you to widen the scope of your potential. I want you to think wider and say, can't I? Maybe I can. Don't think in the box. Widen the scope and think widely. You are younger, much younger than most. You think now. You can create not only something on the world scale, even globally, but even in your home. In your home, as someone's son or daughter, what new thing can you add in your home? You could be the first one, by the way, to bring that classic Porsche car in your family. You could be the first one to build a bungalow. You could be the first one to visit the farthest country. You could be the first one to sit in a Boeing from your family. You could be the first one. Yeah, now think, can't I be the first to come up with the first? So that's very, very important. The second way through which you can add value is to actually increase on what you have found already in existence. You can cause increase. And that increase can be in terms of quantity as well as in terms of quality. Praise the Lord. You can cause increase, beloved. In terms of quantity, if you found something, as far as numbers are concerned, 2 things, and then because you exist, they become 4, and 10, and 100. That is increase. If you found a small house, locally made and so on. You smear with cow dung and some sand. But now, because of your existence, you move your family from that mud and you bring on cement screed and then tiles from this little small candle and lamp to electricity or solar, from a bicycle to a car. Are we together? You have caused increase. That is adding value. I know I'm talking to brilliant people because personally I enjoy speaking to brilliant people. And so I want you to listen carefully. You have room and capacity to add value. And I want you to note those two ways in which you can add value. Praise the Lord. Putting on something new, or actually adding to what you have already found in terms of quality and quantity. You are most welcome, sir. Most welcome. Clap for him as he takes his seat. Thank you very much. This is another brilliant guy here. And we are blessed to have you, beloved, in our country. Thank you very much. You actually are now privileged to listen to some brilliancy. And so, we need to note that as young people. Now that we know the purpose for which we came to this world, and that is to add value. And my brother General, that's what I'm talking about, adding value as the primary purpose for which each one of us were created. Now, in order to understand that critically, please know your uniqueness. Know your uniqueness, because you will not get on that journey towards adding value unless and or until you know your uniqueness. Now, let me just define your uniqueness in this way. First of all, do you know that you are the only one that is you? Just think for a moment. There is no another you. All the people that have lived before now, those who are living now, I think we have crossed over 7 billion. We are 7 point something billion people in the whole world. And those who will come after now, listen, there will never be another you. Even if you were an identical brother or sister, you cannot share with your identical brother or sister the genetic code, for example. Now, ordinarily, by the way, it is unique of you. The marks there on are unique of you. Ordinarily, and even scientifically, I don't think you share anything like your DNA with anybody. You are deoxyribonucleic acid. It is unique of you. God creates neither copies nor duplicates. You are the only you. And now, let us put the first point and this one together. Because you are the only you, the purpose for which you are created will be achieved by only you. If you don't achieve it, it will never be achieved. Praise the Lord. Now, thirdly, in order for you to achieve that purpose, God is amazing. He's very kind. He equipped you. He gave you tools that will enable you to achieve that particular purpose. Now, some of the tools are innately wired in you. Innately. And others are actually there where you are. You have found them here. Now, when I talk about those that are innately wired in you, I am thinking about your gifting. Your gifting. Now, young people, look closely into your life. You will discover that there is something good at which you are good. At least better than most. That could be referred to as your talent or your gift. You are good at something. Now, of course, you may share that something with others that are good at it. But you cannot equally and perfectly share that gift with anybody else. Both of you could be musicians. But there is something about your type and kind of music that is unique of you. Are we together? There is a niche attached to your type and style of music. You could be a runner, but let me tell you, you cannot share exactly with anybody else something you are good at. Now, young people, because you see, we cry before the president, before all these leaders, we are jobless, unemployment. But do you know that you yourself, after understanding all this we are sharing, you could be the best to give yourself a job? And that's what we are talking about. Job creation. You could be your own employer. You see, you could be an employer at the same time an employee. You could be your own boss, master. And this understanding should push you to that level. So, look into yourself. Now, if you have somewhere to write, and I think you do, write 2 things that you think you are good at right now in terms of talent. Now, as you write them, I can brainstorm. Think of musicians, think of footballers, runners. You know, I have seen these Kipros. There are so many Kipros that are very good at running. Some of them are not necessarily academically cultured. But think, this guy runs in the hills, does the practice, and then comes down and he runs and he boards a plane, goes to the west. They say, on your mark, set. This guy runs. He comes a second to none. And the country's flag goes up. He gets pounds. The president builds him a house. Wow. And you are talking of unemployment. This person has actually employed herself or himself. I have even seen there's people who are cultured with humor. Can you imagine humor? Humor alone can employ someone. Think of these MCs and the comedians and all that. Before you enter some place where they are going to show their comedy, you pay. If you have a wedding and you need an MC, some of these guys, you part with 3-4 million for him to come and cause laughter, just like that, and spice up your wedding or function. Can you imagine? Why? He understood that he has a sense of humor. I challenge most that, my dear, that it's not enough to have a sense of humor. It is important to have a humor of sense as well. And some qualify on the former, but not on the latter. So do not pride. Thank God you have a sense of humor, but pray for humor of sense as well. Those are innate things, innately wired in you that you need to discover, then you develop. You develop. Atiza kurera umweshongo cyangwa ngo rashongora usoro gospel. You part with 2 million for him or her to perform at your party. And so, that's, look at what God gave you. Now, when you get out of your own self, then you discover that you have possessions. You have land. If you are from a family, there's land. Can you imagine? Do you know how much value land has? Owning a plot, by the way, is not just owning the surface area. So, in this part of the world, we still think that when someone has land, it's only here. But do you know you own under the surface? You can build the whole space. Land. From our basic primary agriculture, they said we need to use land for cash crops and food crops. You remember? You guys, how many young people step on land without putting it to use? Acres are there. I think I can. You can even if you had a small, piece of land, enkoko okuzije rikiju nizetenga itagaruka ingari n'abana nagira enkoko hansi ayigure mbuzi yasohora land. Can I tickle your mind to just appreciating what God has given us in terms of possessions, land? Understand the value of land. We are here at Tuzza, this particular area. You are going to pay some money unless it has been offered. I don't know. I don't want to belittle this effort. But and this person is getting a lot of money because we want a decent semi-something place where we can come and host our symposium from. I want to thank God that He's giving us this opportunity to tickle our minds, to wake up to this, to style up and look into ourselves as chief employers of our own selves. Land. Did you know that God gave you time? And many people, let me tell you, do not waste time. We live a very short time in this world. I don't have enough time to tell you what I discovered about time. But let me quickly mention this. Are you aware that you live a very short time here on earth? Do you know how much time do you have? In fact, Psalm 90 verse 12 says, teach us, O Lord, to count our days aright so we can have a heart of wisdom. If I can take you through a quick mental work to show you how little time it is that we have here. How many hours are in a day? How many hours in a day? 24, right? Okay. If you go to bed at 10 and wake up at 6, you would have slept how many hours? 8, right? From 10 to 6. 8. What fraction is 8 of 24? A third. Thank you. Now, hear this. If you were to live for 60 years, what is a third of 60? 20. You know what has happened? By the time you clock 60, you will have slept for a period of 20 years. You spend a period of 20 years in bed. Now, I am not saying that sleeping is wrong, but there are very few activities that you do when you are asleep, if any. Not totally, or dead asleep. Banywana banji, wake up to the realities of the shortness of time. The shortness of time. Hati, urore, emyaka ejo makumi abiri ejo neyo kugwejejera. Now, youth, I think all of you are graduates, or most. Thank you very much. And many of our children do not get involved in productive activities until they are out of the university. No, some class from the kindergarten to the university. Now, listen to this. On average, at what age do you finish university? 23, 4, okay? Now, in the period of 23 years, you have not really done anything that you can embark on in your old age. You add the 20 years to the 20 of sleep. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. Okay, now, there is this time when you are sick, when you are seated and eating. By the way, if you took time to calculate when you are eating breakfast, break tea, lunch, you will discover that you have a period of about 6 years for eating. You add it up. Then there is when you go for burials, for these other blah blahs and so on. You actually are not involved in productive anything. So you add it up. There are some who spend some time drinking and drunk. 2 hours drinking, 4 drunk. You add it up. I'm talking about in 60 years. Add it up to the 20 of sleep, to the 20 of school, to the 20 to the 6. So let me tell you, in a period of 60 years, don't get shocked if you discover, or when you discover that you have like 7 years or less in which you can get involved in full-time productive activity. My dear General, that discovery shocks us. And there are young people who say, I am still here in this world. Unless I die of an accident, I'm still young. I shall do things. I shall do things. The moment you understand these realities, it will take you to another level. So, time is wealth. Time. Now, also something else you need to know, and of course you are part of, is education. Do you want to be productive and add value? Please value education and be part of it. And I'm talking about education in a broader sense. Get knowledge formally. Get knowledge informally. Get knowledge non-formally. Seek knowledge. And with that knowledge, of course, make sure you intertwine with experience and exposure. There are people who do not know what to do until they travel and discover that there are people who have done what they are able to do. Please, education and exposure. Education and exposure. I cannot tell you the value of education. I don't have to. You already know. But let me caution you. It's not enough to get knowledge unless or until you implement it, you put it to good use. We have graduates around who keep on crying, I don't have anything to do. Why did you choose that course? Did you think twice? Huh? Does the course you took, correspond with your giftedness? No manko muntu yana akunda obushobozi akashoma BBA. No manko muntu yana akunda politics akashoma political science. You actually sharpen what you already are good at. So in choosing vocation and choosing courses and all that, make sure you choose in accordance with the area in which you are gifted. Now, let me wind down this way, because I was given 30 minutes and that's what I'm going to use. Hati Yim, I love you. I want you youths to really, really think about this. If you want to add value, remember that you cannot do anything or be anything unless you exist. And you cannot exist without that body. Can I tell you, be wise. Protect your body. That body. The greatest wealth you have is good health. Do not mess up your body through liquor, through immorality of any kind. Do not mess up your body. That body is what you need. It's actually a medium of operation. You cannot operate apart from that body. In fact, most of the leaders I value and respect in this country are leaders who do not mess up their bodies. In fact, General Zawabamwe, including His Excellency the President, that is smart. Can you imagine someone who has attended school, been taught biology, simple biology and chemistry? You could even be a cultured lecturer in a top-notch university. He or she could even have graduated from first-class universities with a magna or summa cum laude. But you see this person busy choking his lungs with nicotine in order to get lung cancer. What kind of understanding is that, really? Ogo Professor Noha, busy killing his lungs despite the knowledge that tobacco has a chemical element, nicotine. Banywana, can I beg you, how will you become a rocket scientist, a computer wizard, a minister in this country, a president, a bishop like me? Name them. If and when you don't exist, and how can you exist without that body? Young men and women, yes. Knowledge is coming, employment will be achieved. This that we are saying will take you somewhere. Do not lose hope, but keep your body jealously. That is why morality is very key. Ntabwo rero tubaga muzunwe abakuza kwirwa n'abakwija kujunwa bakatana nibi. Konkaro no kugira ati even when I'm not saved, I cannot mess up myself like this. No way. No way. When you think of self-esteem, when you value yourself, never. I am a girl. I cannot be anybody's soup in any way. I know what I'm talking about. So value yourself, protect your body. And above all, in conclusion, think of honoring your parents and honoring God Himself. Honoring God. Listen to Him. You pray to God. This world belongs to Him. You could have A, B, C, D, you could be A, B, C, D, but still you fail. There are people who have bent their knees before God and said, I have given up. Please, Lord, employ me. And all of a sudden, you see God opening doors you did not know about. It's not by might. It's not by power. It's by God's will. By God's will. Now, as I sit, and in a few minutes take off, you think with me. Ogumeno ujiroti na bandu ho ndukugenda omesha ngumeni nyibuze iki. Kurintarabereho enseka baneza kuferwa iki. What would the world have missed had I not existed? Can I implore you? Work for that. By the time you kick the bucket, by the time you breathe your last, by the time you are done and gone, you should look back and say, I thank God because the world would have missed had I not existed. I implore you to the grace of God. I love you. I know it is possible to be of value. Live and think on how you will add value, so that by the time you leave, the world will say bye, but we thank God that you have been here. God bless you so much.
A round of applause to the Bishop. I kindly request you to stand up and we give an outstanding appreciation to the Bishop because it has been a great talk. Let's start. You have not clapped. Okay, start. We can finish. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. I would like you to allow me introduce a few keynote speakers, and I kindly request you to give us some 5 minutes, then you listen to the vision bearer of this project. Just 5 minutes. I want to recognize Gen Mugisha Muntu. Please, guys, receive him. He's our keynote speaker today also. Let's recognize Collins. I would like to talk about some few words about Collins. Collins is an impact entrepreneurship coach. So you guys are lucky to have him here. He is a microfinance and circle specialist. He is a 4She champion. Do you know 4She? He 4She champion. Yeah. Then he is a wellness coach. So you're lucky to have him here. I'm going to introduce the only lady out of the keynote speakers. She is Godlive Nayebare. Godlive Nayebare is an advocate by profession. She is counsel, actually. You know, we call them counsel. Yeah, she is a mother, a wife, a mentor, and a humanitarian. She is a president of Rotary Club of Mbarara, where I belong. I'm also a Rotarian, so she's my president. She is a president of the whole of East Africa Rotarian clubs. So she's a great lady. You have a great lady here. So today, I kindly request the vision bearer, the project founder, chairman, to come and give a few remarks so that the bishop can go knowing what it is all about. Thank you very much.
Yes, I welcome you all I welcome you all in your dignitaries, my Lord Bishop, General, Mr. Collins, and our Mayor, you're welcome, and also my council, you're welcome. My name is Walter Magezi, born from Bushenyi town, raised from here. Basically, I will start by appreciating your word, my Lord Bishop. And I will answer according to the word, kuntarabireho ensekaferirweki. Tubakufunde workshop page. Yes. Tomorrow business is basically, I will call it is an entrepreneurial project which is a public-private sector. It is an initiative nkomnyeto wa Bushenyi after sitting and thinking. After university, I went into 3 jobs. Now korahemre mesha tukonka with time. Now I would get into office. At 7, I'm in office, and I go back home at around 10 p.m. The boss, my boss, would come around 10 a.m. He checks on me. Yes, how is the going? Then he leaves by midday. He comes back tomorrow. But in the end result, I'm the one taking the peanuts. I'm like, why? If I have the skill, me as me, he's depending on my knowledge. Why don't I start out my own things? So I came out with a project. I came out with a company called Walter Concepts. Walter Concepts, we do graphics, advertising, and marketing. And I take the pressure because I market one of your big institutions in town here, which is Jubilee Circle. And apparently, once you see me in your office to take an interview from you, don't get surprised. I'm the same person who does that. So with Tomorrow Business came into the ideology after seeing most of our youth, when we are discussing, all they get to tell me is, I finish university, I'm searching a job. And somehow I'm like, if we could learn how to take a sacrifice ourselves, because me, I believe like life is not a challenge to be solved, but it should be a reality to be experienced. Once we learn that we can experience life, we don't have any problem to see it as a challenge. Me, when I do these things and I see it rain, I be like, hey, God knows why. It is not by my potential. I have done my best. I let everything into his hands. So with this Tomorrow Business project, we are engaging into capacity building to the youth. Not only for capacity building, but from there, we are to help and equip them with hands-on practical lessons. Me as Walter, I cannot manage this, but for this far that we have gone, I have colleagues here who have made things work out. First and foremost, I appreciate her, our principal commercial officer. She's been behind me in this journey. The very first person whom I sold the ideology, I went to him, I saw him as a stranger. After looking at him, I told him, I want you to sponsor me. He was like, sponsor you for what? I'm like, I'm doing a capacity building workshop. I'm trying to do this because I want the youth to learn more knowledge about entrepreneurship and development skills. He looked at me, he was like, okay. Tell me, how does this work? We discussed very well. After discussing, he was like, okay. He gave me a good amount of money. I will not mention it. He told me, you go. So now I got the money. I started looking at the man. I was like, okay, if this man can entrust me with this kind of money to do this, why not show him I will keep doing this forever and ever? He is here. The man behind .com Electronics in Ishaka, he's called Francis. He was my main sponsor from day one. Out of nowhere, he pulled good money from his pocket and told me, go start. So from there, from him, I ran to our mayor, who is here also. I approached the mayor, I told him my process and everything. He was like, that's okay. It's okay. You continue. I love your ideology. And other people would tell me, your ideology is okay, but it is not good for Shane. It wants an urban area, but I was like, no, this is my home place. If things get better, we shall all get better. So from there, that man, I also went to other people who are not here. There is Kegra, Kilele Green Agency. They also facilitated us and supported us our very first time. And things went on and went on very well. With this time that we have tried to do all these things, after reaching different stakeholders, others came in with more knowledge. He asked me, the deputy asked me, the deputy mayor asked me, he was like, yes, you're doing this. How can we tackle in this to see that farmers can earn something much more? I was like, yes, let me go back as a mastermind and think much what we can do. We sat on the table, we thought we are like value addition. Where do we start from? We started from avocado growing of the farmers through a Hyundai Agro Stores where is the director. A Hyundai Agro Stores communicated to the farmers. They started digging avocados. We have been doing that for a long time. And we started to extract an avocado oil. That avocado oil right now is not edible. But in the process, as we keep pushing harder and harder, we shall mobilize and get enough funds to buy an extractor, which will be suited in Bushenyi here. And we tell the whole of Great Western Uganda to deliver and surprise with avocados. We process them, we get a cooking oil of our own, because we are having a challenge in that. And in terms of industrialization, as we get that kind of a machine here, that creates employment. We shall have people to operate it in. We shall have people to do into marketing and sales. We shall have people. That's where we are looking at. People to create their own thing and they benefit from it. So we have done other several projects. We are doing urban farming with Agton agencies. The director is here. Agton helps us to reach, because people think like when you're in town, you don't have enough land, you cannot plant an onion. You can secure that money. We are doing our best to make this work out to the society. So as Tomorrow Business, when we sat, me and my team, we thought about it. We are like, if we are trying to create all these platforms for the entire community to understand, how best can they all benefit at once? I have decided, and I say it right now, I will stand by my word. We are to have our first of a kind trade show in Bushenyi Town Playground. This December, we are not backing down. December is near here. Starting from here, I'm not sitting. Even if you come to office tomorrow and you find me running up and down, don't say what's wrong with this man. I have to mobilize again. I don't have funds. To be sincere, me as Walter, I don't have enough money to push this thing. But with a few support from different people, and I try to make it visible. If you tell me this is this, I will do it the way you want it to be. But as long as we all benefit as a community, that's my target goal. So we are planning to have a trade show which will be mega in Bushenyi grounds, and we call upon all stakeholders. We call upon all stakeholders. This is to be a national trade show for Bushenyi district entirely. That's where I am born. I also need good things in my district. Not everything. Others were telling me you should take it in Barara, you should take it in Ishaka. No. Things were made and were created. The first trade show to be in Barara was created by a person. So let's also create our own here in Bushenyi. We do our first trade show. Every year we should be knowing that every December, luckily from 4th to 11th, a 1 week whole trade show. That's all I need. And from there we shall start a beginning point. So I call upon everyone. This trade show might not be easy and an easy one since it's the first one, but we can pull hands together and make this work out. Thank you very much. Yes, let me also introduce my committee team. The committee team, wherever you are, you can stand up. Committee. Yes, the committee is here. We have our chairperson. She's there. She's my chairperson. I look for a lady because they are soft spoken. A man might beat me. So for her, she tells you, Walter, change this like this. Yeah? So we have our treasurer. He's a very humble man in terms of finances. Since me, I'm always running up and down for him. He knows how to keep the money well. And anytime I make excessive spending, he asks me what's wrong. So we also have our publicist, head of public. publicity publicity person. Then we also have our secretary, general secretary. He is on the media guy. That is called Danger. He works with, he helps us in media coordination. We have our TV stations, NBS. NBS, you can raise up your hand for recognition because the head of the department is there. After here, don't look for me. We have also TV West. I don't know where he is. Daily Monitor, New Vision, all are here to deliver this kind of information here in the society. We also have welfare in terms of eating and drinking. If you don't get any drink to quench your thirst, ask that man. He's responsible. Yes, they are not giving people. They should start from you. Yeah, and Walter Magezi, the team leader. Walter Concepts Director, Graphics Designer, Operations Manager, one in all. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is the vision bearer. Let's clap for him again. This guy you see here, this young man you see here, he is hardworking. He stressed me in office. It became too much until a time when I said, okay, I'm going to work with you. So that's when I started working with him so that at least we bring up the youth, they acquire some knowledge. And I mean, you mean something from here. And I know by the time you leave here, you want to remain the same. Especially, you will not remain the same. So, nani shabangu mwichirize bishop yana shabangu aturecheho tinkumanya yaba ananda kubuze chibuzo bishop kano shabyabirikiriye byabashobesa bazumu. Okay, so if there is no anyone, Nani Shaba Walter, please accompany the bishop. And yes, okay, let him first pray for us again. This is a blessing. Stand up.
Thank you very much. On the program, I was supposed to be here for closing. So I spoke now. I would like to close with prayer. Let me appreciate the vision bearer. I got excited when I heard you speak. We are here to support you. We shall support you. Of course, the bishop now has a very, very wide crowd. We shall support you. And yes, you'll get challenges here and there, but let me remind you of what Churchill said. He said, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's courage that will push you further. When you have succeeded, do not settle with that level of success. In case you fail here and there, do not give up. Courage to move on. Let's pray. Blessed, mighty, and heavenly Father, oh, what a blessing moment. Word. And Lord Jesus, you even had these young people can cause impact. I know that very well. But we now stand before you because we don't trust our own. We can, when you have willed that we succeed, and when you have blessed the efforts. And so for all the good that these young men have put upon their hands to do for their community in this country, I pray that you bless. Bless it, oh God. Bless their efforts. Bless their planning. Bless them, oh God. So, as a result, your people will benefit. You put us here to do what pleases you and what can benefit humanity. May you bless the efforts of these young men and women and cause them to succeed as they do ABCD to come to their goal and vision. And now I pray that the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge of God and of His dear Son, Jesus Christ, who is our Lord and Savior. And may the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be upon you, beloved, upon this workshop, upon the speakers. May these words be blessed to cause you to act accordingly. May that blessing be upon your both immediate and distant future. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. You can take your seat.
Thank you very much. Members, we are going to the program now. You can see the programs are here. You guys never distributed them. I want to talk about a few remarks before I invite the first speaker. The youth. I told commercial officer, Bushenyi Shaka municipality. I want to talk about a few things, like 3 of them. 1, youth in relationship to the government programs. You all know that we have government programs that are going on. 1, we have a Myoga program. 2, we have parish development model. One thing, the youth, you normally neglect these programs. And there is something that is key to these programs. Most of the time, you find these programs are affordable in terms of cost. For example, Numanyang banks nzihereza loans aha interest rates zahigo. For example, you can find a SACCO is giving a loan at 2% per month, or a bank is giving like 1.5% per month, or 2%, or 3%, even more than that. So Oshanja government programs, for them, 8% per 7% per month, or 1% per month. I'm trying to encourage you, don't neglect government programs. Try to be involved more. Even if it is Mtwara Shatu, I'm telling you, you can do something very important, which is valuable out of that small money you call small. Then the other thing, I want you to always accept learning. And if there is kushashura and you can afford, please try to learn more. No, manya knowledge is power. Eh? All of you know that. Learning doesn't end. Please try to learn. For me, when there is somewhere I can manage to attend whatever type of learning, whatever information is there, I have to be there and learn more. Learning never ends. So please try to learn. Don't involve yourselves in non-resourceful activities. For example, making noise in town, causing kavuyo, such things. When you avoid those things, I'm telling you, where you're seated, you have avoided that, you're going to reason. And as a result of reasoning, you're going to acquire knowledge and know what to do. From there, now the ones are making noise. For me, I'm here. What can I do? What can I do that is gainful? Please, always don't involve yourselves in non-resourceful activities. That is all I wanted to say. I'm going to take this opportunity to invite our keynote speaker called Collins. Collins Nyangaro. Nyangaro. He's an entrepreneur expert. Collins, you're welcome. You can take the floor.
Yes, thank you so much, Christine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Murije. Hindukira ho mugenzi wabo musmayingire ho mwakire. Yes. Mwakire musmayinge. Mwishuke COVID no shateka hwiro yeje. So don't hug. Atata he mune Ebola. So yes, Bishop Witu wa Marakujenda, fellow speakers, especially our beloved Gen Mugisha Muntu. We are so privileged today to share this space with you. We know how tight your programs are, and we know it's your passion for youth that has brought you here. So thank you so much for coming. Ebyanje niza kugezaho kubira kusya kugira gutaferwa chance yo kumara yo kuganira ne Jemanzi. Tikwe. Tikoweza. So my name is Collins Nyangaro. I work with Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union. It's a national umbrella organization for SACCOs in Uganda. And I'm the regional manager in charge of Western Uganda. I also do some work for a national women's rights organization called Forum for Women in Democracy. I don't know whether that organization rings a bell. We shorten it as Forward. Yes. And I've done some work for them for quite some time. Now, like Christine said, I am an impact entrepreneurship coach. I am a product of a program that is run by a university called the Catholic University of Milan in Italy. They have such an amazing program that has transformed their economy and empowered people and transformed their lives, which we do not have here. And as I make my presentation, you will notice that I have some reservations about our education curriculum, our education system, because I think there's something that the framers of this curriculum didn't pay attention to. And as a result, we have so many people, young and old, out there on the streets who are not employed, but they are also not employable, unfortunately. I have had so many opportunities to be as a panelist on some interview panels. And it is so heartbreaking to see somebody with a master's degree a cashier in a small financial institution, all because all efforts and they have now relegated themselves to that level. Okay? But what keeps striking my mind is not reducing at that level. Kind of kubasa kora honko ku bishop yabanagamba. You get it, eh? The other concern I have, and I would like to imagine that some of you have a similar concern, is the fact that the most, and I hope I don't intend to offend anybody with this statement, but what I've realized over time is, and I think it's a global problem, it's not a challenge that concerns us alone, but the most successful people are not necessarily the most educated. I don't know whether you also agree with me. Niba waza kutambura mu rushenyu nuza kushanga bakukizayo ibizimbe by'amani ebine businesses kuflourishinga are people who have really not registered so much success in the academic world. Konko mu business yo mu investment nibo bariyo ne bakora ki nibo bariyo ne bapushing. And so for me the question then becomes, where did we get it wrong as a nation, and what can we do to change things? I know that this concerns you as well. When I walked in, I found a very interesting conversation by some colleagues here, and some of whom mentioned they were still students. And muhamara crossinga mukajoininga kunu yitwa habandi turi mija kushanga nayo bitakozire ki bitanguhire, and you therefore needed to take the bishop's advice very seriously. And I don't know that I should say fortunately or unfortunately, I noticed some people were not bothered by watakwandika. And yet the bishop made very fundamental statements here. Extremely fundamental statements that can turn around our lives. But I noticed there are some people who were busy on WhatsApp and TikTok, as if this conversation doesn't really. Okay. Now, I am here at the invitation of Christine and Walter, and they told me to just pick anything that I can share with you. And between when they invited me and now, I kept asking Christine, why have you complicated my life? How do you invite somebody to now what if you don't meet their expectations, and what if you get completely off point? Yeah? Kuka. Kurijira okutaba ntuganira wabonoshangu some of the things I wanted actually to share. Bishop wanoshangu mwento abatitisize ngutubiganireho. I've prepared a PowerPoint presentation kugira ngo tubirafuse nzirwaninge hamwe tuganire so that we also use it to manage time. I don't know whether so kimwe ahabina yenda kutuganireho kongesereza habi bishop yagamba is the fact that first of all okay, we are here to discuss employment. Yes? And what do we want to get out of that? Because it is one thing to get the job, okay? But it's another. What's the intention of us getting jobs and creating employment? ija zikuvuga orara nureba nuzina nusoma kandi ngo zige sente zawe zokozire ki ezokozire tikwe kandi amenyeto kintu kitutera munonga tikwe now waba noshango n'abantisize na bishop ngo tusharing aka kantu because we all have 24 hours in a day, you remember? And assuming you work from 8 to 11, from 9 to 5, sorry, in the evening, those are 8 hours. You're busy working. The remaining 8 hours, you are sleeping. Now, I want us to go back and reflect on how we normally use the remaining 8 hours. What do we do? If I had time, I would ask all of us to share what we normally do. For some people, we just kugambira nti bantu zana puru, tutayaya, you know, TikTok now and WhatsApp and social media. Abantu na American gaza kurwari gature gina minigareba hasem. You wake up in the morning at 2 a.m. You find people online. Toine mirumo, toine business, data noji hanka. You get it? Now, the other thing I had, for those of you who are interested in, who would like me to share this, I will leave it with him. But there are certain things I would like us to, even I'm sharing very quickly. One is this, for us to reflect on these zones: the comfort zone, the fear zone, the learning zone, and the growth zone. And the question I just wanted to pose is, are you in the comfort zone? For you, all is well. You're waiting to get married and your husband will work hard and fend for your family and give you whatever you need. Are you in the fear zone? You've started January, something to do, but now we are winding up the year and you've never started. All because you tried it out sometime back and it didn't work. Okay? And I think Walter now has learned how to confront the fear zone. That's why he's saying, in December we must have the trade show. That means he has conquered what? So I want you to go and reflect on this. The other thing I want you to reflect on is this, that as we think about employment and all these things we can do, let's reflect on this. There are certain things that are within your control, and there are others that are out of your control. So go and reflect. For example, those that are in your control are your thoughts and actions. You chose to come here because you thought about it and took the decision to come here. That one is within your control. How you spend your free time, how you spend your money, and all these other things. But there are others that are out of your control. Like what has happened to you before. You weren't responsible for the challenges that you went through. There are certain challenges really that were beyond you. Now, why dwell on that which is out of your control? Whatever you want to do. You get my concern? There's something interesting that I read in a book recently, General. It's called, the book is called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I don't know that there are some of us who've read that book. It's one of the most powerful books one can ever read. And so the guy made this powerful statement, Naji summarizing, and just to come and share with you. That there's this saying that you reap what you tell your neighbor that you reap what you sow. So if you sow thoughts, yes, what do you reap? Action. Yeah? And when you sow action, what do you reap? Habits. When you sow habits, you reap what? Character. When you sow character, you reap what? You reap your destiny. So, okujoterekandoze hukachwa hatwarwa, oterekandoze hukachwa hatwarwa, nuza kushanga wabiro musinzi pale nizigenda nizikuragara. And some people even bahendera bafa. Just like that. So, question is, what do you normally think about most of the time? Do you normally think about conversations like these and how you can improve your life and create jobs for yourself and for others? This is a very fundamental question for us to reflect on. And what I found very interesting in that book is this statement that is in black. That 95% of the thoughts, of your thoughts, are the same as the ones you thought the day before. You get it? Now imagine, buri izoba ntusiba ntutekateke bitekateko bibi. Bitari creating employment, bitari creating gukora bitakureta gukora tereza embera zawe. It means you will never get out of the situation that you are currently in. Okay. And this then requires us to take daily incremental actions to build our desired character and to shape our desired destiny. The other thing I wanted to tell you is this. Yes, summarizing is the emotional power of money. Remember, character, when you sow thoughts, you reap action. When you sow action, you reap character, things like that. So this is how then it works out. We can start something that has never happened. And then now it translates into action. You don't take action on it. And why if you speak empowering words to yourself, then no tanchira hojenda nkai hojenda omisho. So I implore you to go and really reflect on this and look at what you normally speak about yourself and then the emotions it arouses. Because for some people, no jiranka wolto kuya nagamba, we want to have a trade show. Wachiba wati teka horom tuma guatetemu. Mwenu kucha kwanga. Abantu kubakubura kuja, and then you end up giving up. Now, still on emotions, on money and emotions, I found this very, very important. When we talk about the subject of money and investment, 50% of the people are likely to fear. Christine was telling you about the parish development model and the things she does in her department. Borrowing esente mjende mukore ndisho bazigamba naja esente z'abandi kuzakungwa. You get it, eh? And that 18% yaba bire yazo ko zisoze katomera kuba kushwara nabatino kushwara tekwe, and 30% even get stressed, especially when they lose money. They stressy and they don't want to start all over again. So I want you to, this one is just for you to go and reflect on what emotions does money arouse in you. Take away. The positive ones are this side, green. The negative ones are this side. So go and reflect on your personal relationship with money. Because to go and reflect on your personal relationship with money and the emotions that money arouses. The negative ones are there, especially when you lose it. People get angry, all those things. Things that could be from at time, but go and reflect on we on common. Because Bishop Yachigamba go yerebi and catch it in common. And what happens is, this is what normally happens, that we find ourselves there on an emotional roller coaster. I want you to watch your own behavior and behaviors. You get a bit optimistic. And then there's excitement. Yes? And then there's thrill. Nwashangaho mwena mjabashema tumwine senti. Aboku biwo kozirechi. Aboku biwo zini. And then there's euphoria. Euphoria is that extreme joy and excitement and deep sense of fulfillment. And arrivalism. Eh? And then what happens when you begin to lose it? There's a bit of anxiety. And then there's denial. Maintaining a lifestyle. And then there is depression. And what happens? Capitulation is that extreme deep depression abantu nibaza kuno kwebeshere kushanga nyira marwa sinzira huireyo gatari go kushemererwa konka gari kumuyaho ki ezo tukwe. So which means that if you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control what? Tell your neighbor mugambira ko speed. Yes. Tukwe. Good. So please go and also reflect on these basic emotions that we all experience. As long as blood still flows through your veins, you will always be an emotional being. Okay. You will have those moments when you're happy, you're excited, and things like that. And so these emotions will manifest. Sadness, love, desire, surprise, disgust, fear, happiness, and anger. Okay? And there is a reason why I started from down. Because I wanted us to end with the emotion on top, which is called what? Which is called money. A very powerful emotion. Kumanya nguzina mani. Omuntu yaba inemu. Nomureba nomumanya. Waka sente namwe nikachawulta nochireba chiriji. Tukwe. Konkana n'omuntu atinde muno okora ki? Nawe nomumanya. Noreba na skino jireba niburabura. Nokakubakana kati kakuburabura nokamanya. That's how powerful it is. And so we have to work really, really hard. But we also keep our nerve and control our emotions so that when we get it, we don't lose it. Yes? Aha. So, Koratai, this is my homework for you. Go and reflect on some of the emotions that you have experienced in the last 7 days, you as an individual. And how you reacted to them. Is it sadness? Have you had bad emotional issues with your money? And yet you worked so hard for it. And yet you could have built on that to start off a small business. You get it? Aha. And then here are some of the triggers, the emotional triggers. Please remind me how much time I have. Like 5 minutes. Here are some of the triggers, some of the emotional triggers. And a certain category of people. Zitemba. Tekwe ATM ajihayo. Pin number jiro ajigaba. You get it? Are you that type? And then there are kweshanga ayahura nkomwanya ayahura mu ikidongo. Tekwe zikorachi zitemba. Abandi it is times, there are times of the day that arouse certain emotions. Wamshangaza chile shamshanju yajizire mworu jara ayinokwa kubehavinga okul different from when tikwe abandi when it is dark they pull out the wallet. Tikwe, go and reflect. And then words. There are people who there's a small book I read, it's called The 5 Love Languages. And one of the love languages is words of affirmation. Empangari bajuana. And you do things you shouldn't have done. You might find we have people in our midst who ended up in very wrong relationships just because of the power of words. Yes? Or we lost money just because of the power of words. So go and reflect on how these words influence your behavior, okay, and your emotional reactions. Now, quickly, as I conclude, here are some notes for you to go and reflect on. That emotions are an important part of human experience because indeed we are all human beings, okay? And they have influenced some of humanity's biggest achievements. But in times of uncertainty and stress, they can also have negative impact if they are not managed well. Isn't that important? Aha. There's something I wanted to read for you. That first one, that how we deal with money is not unlike how we deal with love, power, and other things. The way you deal with your other things, love and how you use your power, will always be similar to the way you manage what? To the way you manage money. Kwa kubana ozibwana sente okagire wala otwiro ine michombi. Kutwariza kuba bandi. Na sente nazo nozitwariza kubi. It's very strange. But finally, go and reflect on this. There's a study that I read about that was done by a gentleman called Daniel, which showed that we make financial decisions based 90% on emotion and only 10% on logic. Yes? I also read somewhere that by comparing a ratio of emotion Z2, using a ratio of 1 to 24, that when your emotions are in high gear, they are 24 times stronger than a rational mind. Yes? You are 24 times more likely to do things you shouldn't have done when your emotions are high. And this includes how you spend your hard-earned money, okay? And how then you postpone and mess up other investment plans that you had previously. Okay. So allow me to end it there. I had a couple of other slides, but our time is already fast spent. But thank you so much. Go and reflect on these emotions. They determine whether or not you will start the next business. Because esente zakubira nizigitandika obumwe nizitomera zitakukozire ki zitakutomire ahabwa emotions zizitwantukora ki zitabantu gambaho. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. Okay. Collins, that was great. I didn't know you're such an equipped man like that. I've just taken a chance today and I'm honored to listen to you actually. Because guys, this is my first time to listen to Collins. I've always read what he has written. I've always heard about him, but today I've seen that knowledge that is equipped in you. Let's welcome our second speaker, Council Godlive Nayebare. She's here with us, and please be attentive. Listen to a lady council. She's here with us.
Thank you, Hope, our Rotarian. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. My Lord Bishop in absentia, Gen Muntu, the mayor of our city and town, because I know it's a town information into a city. My fellow panelists, the visionary bearer, the vision person bearer, and the person who's extended this invite to me, and most importantly, the mother of our vision bearer. Good afternoon. It humbles me seeing a mother support a boy child to the level of sit with him in a room when he has convened such a big gathering. My name once again is Godlive. As an Yomwana Wakunuya, I am born in Rwenjeru. Chanamera is my cell, Rwenjeru is my parish, Nyakavidi is my division. I am a daughter to Mr. Mbiamire John. Babagambra, I am Omnyamateka, Nkashomera St. Kagwa Boarding Primary School. Kandi, I run a consultancy firm in law and legal. Land and legal. Thank you. So I am humbled to be back home and speak to my, I don't know whether I would call them my siblings because most of you look very younger than me, but also to our audience from which I grew and I still live, because it is home for me. Actually, when Christine reached out to me to come and speak and said, Shen Youth, I did not hesitate. I just said, Christine, whatever it is that it is youth, I will come and speak. I'm an advocate, like you had, meaning I am a practicing lawyer. and I'm a lecturer with the Law Development Center, so ninshomesa abanda banyamateeka bagenzi bange. And I am privileged to talk about the theme of today, which is about uniting Ugandan citizens to tackle unemployment. I cannot understand where I should start and stop, because after such powerful speakers, I am a little bit speechless, because the bishop spoke and I said, oh God, it was finished. Then Colin stood and spoke, I said, oh God. Then the vision bearer, oh my God, I am humbled and privileged at the same time. I live and stay in Mbarara, but my company has a branch in Kampala, so I interact a lot with the youth, especially through my humanitarian work. You heard that I'm a president of the seniorest club in Ankole, I think, because I am their 38th president. I lead men of 70 years and plus, 60 and plus, and youth like me, like I am. And we are very happy when we are giving back to our communities. Now, some of the programs we run are targeting the youth. And just before I came here, I was signing a Vijana Power contract. A Vijana Power contract is a project under our Rotary arrangement, which is a Kiswahili word meaning empower the youth. Okay? So we have a component, a lot of our to do with the youth. And like I said, after all these wonderful speakers have spoken, I will just restrict my remarks to just about 3 points so that we give chance to our main keynote speaker to address us. I will speak about what we can do to handle or tackle unemployment, and not only as you, the youth, but to government, like the mayor. Our mayor is here, the general is here, he has a very stake in managing government affairs. He has served very diligently this government, and so are some of you in the audience. So I will restrict my discussion around how we can unite as Ugandan citizens to tackle unemployment. And point number one, I would want to see us improve on the standards of vocational training to ensure that we have lifetime projects. And what do I mean? I know from my background of both education and lecturing that education was privatized. But how many of us have gone out of our way to put up vocational institutes? And how many of us seated here at the end of either senior 4 or senior 6 or first diploma chose to go and do skills training, or what we call vocational training? This is where the money lies. My car would not have delivered me here if the mechanic had not looked into it. That's point number one. At every point, we need somebody in a given capacity to help us fix this. Yesterday, my bulb in the bathroom could not work. I bought a new bulb, it was not working. I still had to go to an electrician to help me fix this. What am I communicating? I am saying we need to improve the standard of vocational training to create and teach our children and the youth to appreciate that it's not about getting the law degree, because I got it. I actually worked for government for some time, and I am now self-employed. I employ myself and employ a set of youth, and they're about more than 6, 10, thereabout. You know, sometimes you're worried to begin divulging information as the lawyers understand the magnitude of that. But what am I saying? You need to come back and understand using your hands to make money, like my colleague Collins was saying. So we need to ensure that we improve the standard of vocational training and help our youth come to terms with real life projects. The fish farming, the horticulture, the agro, something adding value will not happen just by word of mouth. It is going to be a hands-on for you and me. Then we need to bridge the gap between training and jobs. And in this, I mean to say, we need to know how to help people work with budgets. For example, if you ask a fresh graduate what it is, and they are not graduates of business administration and accounting, what it means to have a budget and stick to it, they will not understand. But in this skills training in vocational schools, we should teach the youth how to have a budget, work within that budget and make themselves better. Because this is not something, if you're not a student of accounts, you're not going to meet it anywhere. At my first job in government, I was freshly introduced to how to make a budget. I was asked to make a budget for your department. I said, oh God, what does this mean? Over the years, ask me, I now know. I imagine if I had been trained to make a budget right from the time I was in school, I would be much different than I was when I joined work. Then we also need to know how to create competing and valuable skills with our hands. The crafts ladies, I am so much of an African woman that whenever I pass by a craft shop, I have this crave that I want to pass and pick an item or two. How many of us know that we can earn a very big living by just being specialists in crafts? And then together in organized marketing, together in groups, online and physical, in the exhibition like he's organizing, we go ahead and sell our baskets. And don't make these rough ones. Add value. Make sure your small basket makes a statement before somebody touches it. Am I communicating? Let's look out for those special skills that the bishop was talking about that are going to make us better. I would also like to address our minds on helping vocational training institutions to attract students with new business. And what do I mean here? I mean to say that when we send our children to this vocational training, or when you choose to go for vocational training, do not go to do only carpentry, mechanical engineering, do something to do with, like how Walter has come out of the ordinary. He's not implementing the day-to-day projects of people. Like, for example, who would have ever thought that a boy born in Bushenyi and groomed in Bushenyi would be thinking about making edible oil out of avocado? For me, in Rangel, where I'm born, avocado is for eating on matoke. Okay? So when I hear him speak about extracting oil, edible oil, I mean, that's what we need to get out or to tackle our unemployment that is eating up the youth. This whole idea of white collar job, man, those mechanics, those girls you see on rooftops cleaning tiles using some specialized technology to make that algae go off. Those people who are making chairs in one of my mentors and friend calls it Juakali, making those chairs. Instead of having it the ordinary sofa set, then they attach something to make it like a bird on top. Then the clients are excited about it. You have seen the boys in Zambia who go out of their way to make tables using saiso, to be that creative. And when we do, yes, old tires, you turn them into birds, you turn them into chairs, you turn them into tables, you add value to anything around you and be unique. I said I'm taking a short time, but I seem to be taking long. But also of interest as we handle and tackle our unemployment concern, we need to address the issue of peer-to-peer awareness rising. Now there is this whole tendency that if you finished P7 and went to a vocational institute like Kahaya, you are a failure. Am I speaking to somebody in the house? The ones who have gone ahead and gone to St. Kagwa and gone to Ntale and gone to Mera Hill are looking at you like you know you're mistaken. But people have earned and demonstrated ability to live by going to these technical institutes and making a difference in their lives. You've seen people trying to fly aeroplanes in Uganda. You've seen, I mean, I can't explain it all, but I have come to realize, and when I was leaving my job as a young person from government, one thing was for sure on my mind, that I did not have to stay working, and because government is sweet, it creates you friends, it gives you a job, your salary is on your account, but I was still having this yearn of I want to self-employ and employ youth around me and see how best we can make. I wouldn't say we have made it really in life, but we are fairly doing well. And I am not just empowering the people that I'm working with. In my humanitarian role, I am ensuring that we reach out to the youth. We are doing internship programs. We are doing trainings. As I walked in, you saw me on a call. I was speaking to my service projects director. and telling him, as we celebrate 100 days of Rotary, I want us to launch officially this Vijana Power project. Who knows about Innovation Village? It is situated in Barra. Yes, I'm glad you do. It is an organization that is interested in ensuring that youth are empowered with skills, or if you have identified a skill, they fine-tune it. Among others, it does so much. So we are implementing this project from my club with that team. And for me, that is no mini achievement. We are ensuring that those who know what they can do and want some little startup capital, as Rotary. Rotary is a non-profit making organization for the benefit of those who do not understand it, that is mandated to ensure that we help the less privileged members of our community into better persons. So me, in my presidency, crafting a program and ensuring we are able to give back to the youth by, one, having them get internship placements, skilling them better, fine-tuning their products, and ensuring that we organize them in marketing these products. I feel I have given to my youth. And I can assure you, I am finding myself spending almost 80-20 time, the 80-20 principle. I am spending 80% of my time in the Rotary humanitarian work and 20 to my income generating because of the passion I have for youth. So Walter, I want, as I end these remarks, because I know time is not in our best interest, my firm and I will pledge to give you all the legal support you need to be better. Consult us, don't make uninformed decisions. We may not have all the space to take all the people you may have, but we are promising to stand with you as you empower the people of my hometown to be better by providing what we are able to give best. And if an opportunity comes and I'm able to craft another program in the youth, I'll have you on board as a Rotarian. Thank you so much. I had a lot to say, but I noticed time is not in our best interest. Allow me to stop here. Thank you so much for listening to me. Wow, that is great. I think tomorrow's business project, you're lucky to have our president of Rotary Club, Mbarara. So I want to invite Bantum, let me recognize my boss, my employer. Our mayor, Bushenyi Shaka Municipality, is present in the house. You're welcome. And let me invite Walter, and he recognizes a few people, including Mami, he had forgotten.
Yes, the fact is, when we are organizing such workshops, you end up forgetting a few who are key into this game. Let me introduce my mother, who gave birth to me. She's the first initiator of the project. If she never took 9 months to carry me, I wouldn't be here. I appreciate. I also take this opportunity to give thanks to the online team. We are live streaming, and right now, people, wherever you are out there, get to know that this is coming to you through Venus Online Radio. That is Ebaliyaruha Marvin Foundation. And Marvin, Honorable, wherever you are, I salute you and respect you. We don't take you for granted to support our fellow youth in this system with the online services. And amongst other people that we have a partner called Youth Digital Link Uganda. It is also initiated by my fellow youth, who is our treasurer. The Youth Digital Link Uganda, it helps out to equip the youth with computer knowledge, since the whole society is transforming from analog to digital. So for him, he was like, okay, we are equipping this with entrepreneurial knowledge. So how will they get to know that we can also do online marketing, get to learn about computer applications? He does everything free of charge, the same way we do here. For him, his area is based in schools. So anytime you see them in your school near you, don't get surprised. And we are not doing the things that we have money. Even wherever you have any small contribution you want to give to us, Tina, you stand up, they see you. She has a paper, any small contribution, however small it is, you can deliver through her. She has a paper, she will list you there. Sours, we might go out here and you see people, they are holding me from the gate. Yes, but it is normal. That's how we see the challenges, like Colin said. That's very normal. Madam, let me take this opportunity. I will request my big stakeholder in my sponsorship to just say one word to the community. Mr. Francis Nkwegayiride, just one word. The way we have hustled together, he is the man. Let me say this secret. When I be in Kampala looking for sponsors, preparing for the trade show, I called him. I was like, boss, transport Yaya. And he was like, get on my MTN. That's how he does his things.
Thank you, Mr. Walter. I'm also very humbled and privileged to be here amidst very, very brilliant people, including our general, the president in waiting. I hope that we want to bring here tear gas. I'm called Francis Byampeire Kanda bamwana banyita.com because of the business that I run, .com electronics. I hope some of you know it. And I also have a hotel called Deluxe Hotel. So in case you want anything related to that, we'll be glad to serve you. Mr. Walter, I also want to encourage you to keep climbing the hill. There is a better place on top of that hill, but you will have to work hard to reach the top. Personally, I was also working with government. Nkani nkoranko wegomborera tangaire emyaka konkaka koranko wegomborera aha myaka mito, but that's not a big deal. Ntumanyanga general akaba ame commander at even a much younger age. So when you keep focused on what you want, you finally achieve it. Kuna chirobwire na resigninga. I think I resigned when I was about 32 or something, and I chose to concentrate on my business. And I'm also happy to note that I now employ at least more than 15 Ugandans. And I look forward to employ more. Ruhanga yaba chikunzire. They gave me one word. I don't know if I've multiplied by how many times. But let me say this, because I see here that big man, the one of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, something like that. Mr. Collins, I see here the deputy mayor. I see here the municipal commercial officer. When Collins was presenting, he talked about things that are in our control and those that are out of our control. And since you are talking about employment, it is very hard for government to escape its responsibility in regard to creating employment. And whenever we're talking about this, I want to think that we are misdirecting our priorities. Abokuba butuanshoma economics bakatugambira kibari kweta comparative advantage. As a country, our comparative advantage is in agriculture. It is not in Kayora bus. It is not in making buses. It is not in Uganda Airlines. Our comparative advantage is in agriculture. This gentleman was talking about avocado something. And he reminded me yesterday on, I think CNN, they were featuring a company in South Africa, exporting avocados in the European Union, in China, you know, in Arab world. That company is worth billions of dollars. You know, owito vakedo, turinde chitichera tuzicho tuzigabira abataka, tuzitano mbehimba, turya katogo nkasambo doko yanagamba. But this is a billion worth company dealing on in honor of avocados. And you know we have a lot of land, arable land. Why don't we focus on that? Instead of this Emioga, instead of this Simani Youth Livelihood Fund, this PDM etakwetegerezebwa, we need to redirect our resources to where we can benefit more and where we can easily create value chain. Somebody was talking about vocational something. Kuba kugamba vocational something take kukanika motoka. Okay, fine. Motoka yanje yafa wachikanika. Wafuna mshinjiru kumushinja 10 and then what? You see? There's no value chain up the ladder. But if we concentrate on, for example, on fish farming, and we enable the youth, instead of giving them cash, I don't know the country, by giving people cash. It is not there. But if you go to Mubende, they have a lot of land. People are planting about 30 giga. But if you go there, as a government, buy that land, you know, and you tell everybody interested in planting maybe palm trees. Because right now, we grew up with palm trees, palm oil. Or when you palm oil, you can come and, palm trees, you can come and plant your palm trees. And you know all the things that we get from palm trees. The buto, the saboni, and so many other things. And the youth have a chance because problem empango a youth they don't have land. There's no they participate in these projects when they don't have land. So if you help them in that manner and they access that land and you provide irrigation schemes, it is far much better than giving them a youth livelihood fund. Those things won't take us anywhere. So, I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone here, but I think it is better we sit back on the table and re-evaluate ourselves. We do what they call SWOT analysis. What are our strengths, weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats facing us? That is so much for 10 words, but I want to end by thanking you, Mr. Walter, and feeling so proud for breathing the same air with General Muntu. I would have said that I voted him, but they will arrest me when I go out. But keep the fire burning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That is our own .com. .com konkamanya. I want to tell you. Business. Don't refuse money. Now supposing they give you 1 million to put an interest of only 10, imwe mtware sente. .com na jangwa ngutaro country da tungujire ngo abo kubaha sente. Asa ziruho. Uganda is #1. So PDM money na youth livelihood na emioga, guys, receive that money. Muzekora no shatu mkwenda kukora imwe mwenda kushitamo mu office konka mwachire sente muzekora. So now let's all re-energize as we receive our one and only, the main speaker tonight, Gen Mugisha Muntu. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My pleasure to be here this afternoon with you. I'd like to thank Walter and your team for organizing this conference. I recognize the mayor and the colleague presenters here. Also to thank Francis of .com. I would really like to thank you for supporting this initiative and the other people who backed Walter and the team for this. Because it's critical when it comes to training in the equipping the young people with the requisite mindset in how to engage in entrepreneurship, those who are called in that, those who are purposed to be entrepreneurs. When I came in, I found the bishop, I suppose he was already midway. And then later, Collins came in. And I really hope that you'll be able to get more resources, including the other young people who are involved in the training of the youth, to do more and more trainings. Because the issue is not money. And we have this thinking that you can throw money at problems and they'll be resolved. Even when the money is available, as the commercial officer is saying, yes, but if money goes into the hands of people who are not trained to handle it, to manage it, to grow it, it will simply disappear. I really hope that there would have been more time. And to me, to be honest with you, the talk I'm just giving is just a political talk. But the most critical, in as far as I'm concerned, is the technical training. It's very, very important. First, it lacks in schools. Maybe, unless it's different now. But when I was in our time, when we were still in school, right from primary, secondary school, up to university, the manner in which we were trained was go into the pipeline of the school educational system, get out and get a job. At no point had I ever considered that, for example, I could go into business. Because in our time, the mindset of going to business was something that business was like for, the uneducated at that time. And the council has just talked about also something else, like when people who are gifted in the use of their hands, like people who go into technical schools, to be looked down upon as if it is something inferior, which requires a review, I think, of the educational system. Because human beings are gifted differently. But the educational system almost puts us in the mind that if you don't have excellence in academics, then you are a failure. But we are gifted differently. There are people who are gifted in going into a class and studying academics, and they become whatever they become, whatever professions, an engineer or a doctor or a teacher or whatever. But there are people who are gifted in using their hands. There are people who are gifted in different things, like talented in athletics, talented in music, talented in becoming sports and whatever. That's how God wires us up. But our educational system does not detect that. And I think that is a big weakness in our educational system. There needs to be a redesign. So that right from the lowest levels of education, people are identified early enough to know how is this young man or young woman gifted. How are they wired? And then they are trained along the areas where they have the talent, and grow them in those areas. And also to change the mindset from thinking that it's only people who are gifted in academics to become either lawyers or teachers or engineers or whatever, that if you are, there are people who go in class and they feel bored. You know, they don't even want to follow what is being taught if it is on the academic side. But who are skilled in using their hands, and if they were spotted early enough, they could be excellent in those areas, and they would end up being, you know, creative in many things, as we see in the rest of the world. Actually, in quite a number of countries, you find even people who go through technical polytechnics in a number of times are the backbone of their economies. Many times you find that they are even get more money than the people who are in the professions. But our mindsets are quite different here. As I've told you, I went through the whole educational system. It never occurred to me that I could ever venture into something like business, because we would look down on business and think that business is for, you know, people who are not educated. That's a mindset problem. That's a mindset problem. Like now, there is a problem, the mindset problem of those who are at least in management of government right now. From the way I see them operating, they seem to think that money is a solution to things. So when there is this thing, they say, put their money. But you are giving money to people who are not trained at all in how to use it. It's not about a relationship with money. That's a deep area. They can throw 1 billion shillings to you. If there was someone who had money, they could even do an experiment. You can get 100 people, give them 100 million each, and leave them. And you come and check 5 years, find out how many have grown it. Or those who still even have part of that 100 million. And I can tell you the outcomes will be quite shocking. I am not an expert in teaching entrepreneurship, but I have done my own studies. I read books. A few books which have had an impact on me. I had you quoting some books. This one is not a book. It's just a pamphlet. Someone gave a speech about it. It's something called An Acre of Diamonds. You can Google it. You'll be able to read. But there's also a small book called As I Think So Is He by a guy I think called Allen. I think another one is called The Richest Man in Babylon. It talks about mindset and money. If you don't manage that, if you don't manage the emotions around money, it creates a lot of. If you have, I don't know, if you are giving back to community, if your presence here was to give back to community, maybe when more of the Francis come up and put in some more resources, you need to, half a day is not enough. Maybe as you build and you get capacity, as you participate in this, concentrate on training. One of the youth, that's the only way. Why entrepreneurship? Because you're talking about employment. And again, our mindset at our time was get out of university and get a job in the civil service. And then work until retirement, and you are successful. You have built a house, you have got a vehicle, then you get retirement benefits, and basically that was the thinking. And I don't know this time whether, again, it's still the mindset in the school system, but I suspect that could easily be the case. So why entrepreneurship? We are now 45 million people as a country. If you follow the growth rate of the population, it's estimated like in the next 30 years, we would be getting close to about 100 million people. So government employment, even as the largest or the maximum that it can employ, if you even put in institutions that employ many, like police, like the army, like the prisons, and of course, if you put in like the government agencies, by the time you get like 100 million people in a country, those who can work in government can't go beyond 2 million. Because right now, as we speak, I don't think that government employs public service. I don't think employs up to even 700,000. So what happens the rest is the private sector. So the private sector, as we speak now in the country, the majority of the successful private sector people, the big names, most of them tend to be foreigners, which is okay. Therefore, there needs to be effort to grow domestic entrepreneurs as the population grows, so that eventually those who succeed in being entrepreneurs become the source of employment. Because not everybody would be able to go into business, but there must be those who are called into business. And when they succeed, right from the beginning, when they start small, expand to medium scale and large scale, then they can be the ones who would be employing that many people. Because if you have got a population of 100 million people, how many jobs would be, would you require? Tens of millions of jobs. And if government would only employ maximum, say 2 million, where do the rest go? It's in the private sector. And therefore, we also need to grow local entrepreneurs who become a significant majority of those who are in the area of growing economies. Why? Because it creates stability in a country. Stability in the country, one, that there is a sense of ownership. Yes, there is foreign direct investment, people who come from outside, but that there must also be nationals who are successful in growing businesses. So that even in situations where at times there is instability, like at a global level, you'll find that the countries whose economies remain stable are those that have got a big chunk of their business community who are national. Because domestic capital rarely ever flies out of a country. But when you have got, when a significant percentage of an economy is in the hands of those who are from outside of the country, when there is any turbulence, the tendency is that there is always capital flight. So besides ownership, because in any case, every country, wherever it is, the nationals, if they are well trained and if there is a conducive environment, then they can grow and own a big chunk of their own economy in a country, become a stabilizing factor, and also help in the growing of the base of such economy, of course, where there is taxation and then the delivery of services all around. Those of us who are not active in government, looking from the outside, at least notice weaknesses in those areas, like in the area of education, like in the area of creating a conducive environment for those who are in enterprises to succeed. Because even when someone is good at entrepreneurship, there are things an individual can do in growing an enterprise, but there are also other things that they are not able to do, which only governments can do. For example, the building of infrastructure, ensuring that there are, access to financing, the educational system, power or energy, water provision for those who are in industry, planning itself. And of course, there are areas also when it comes to like issues of marketing, issues of transportation, and all that. Individuals cannot do that. There comes in the role of government. But today is not a day for that. But those of us who recognize the critical nature of the conducive environment for individual entrepreneurs to succeed, we would try to do all that we can to keep addressing that area. And we hope that at one point there'll be people who understand that fully and who are serious enough to put it into practice. So those who are doing their own businesses with all the effort that they do, that all those support services which only government can do that are in place so that the economy can steadily grow and it gives opportunities for employment. The relationship with money. Do what you have to do to keep reading. Because I don't know whether in the educational system now, whether there has been any reorientation. But from the people I meet, many of the young people whom I normally meet, most of them are just looking for a job. So I ask them, why don't you start something? Why don't you start some enterprise? Many of them are completely frightened. They don't want even to look into that area. And many of them, again, many whom I meet, you find that their focus is start big. But big, how I will get the money to start big? Start small. And when you tell them to start small, they look down on that. In their mind, they get a mindset problem. You know? So it's a whole area of concern. And I'm not so sure that the current the current people are looking at that from that perspective. My suspicion is that they think that money can solve everything. It's because at times it's just here that there's this program, there is that program, there is that program, and all those programs are full of money, but you don't see success out of that money which is given. So there needs to be a review of that. Commercial officer, give feedback. Say the money you are sending, there is no impact. Yeah, but I don't think that's what they want is money. They want to be successful, to get to be able to get sources of income that are sustainable. So even when you give them that initial money, they would want to grow it so that it is sustained, so that they can get good returns on the investment. But if they get it and within 6 months you find that they are like how they were before, or even at times worse, there needs to be a review. My hope is that those who are in the management of government, after looking at so many programs, hopefully they can wake up and change direction. If they don't, then I hope those who follow will be more focused, will be more disciplined, and will be more sensitive in regard to how they can create the conducive environment for people who want to go into enterprise, to go in there and grow. Like the parish model, yes, it's a lot of money, but I'm not so sure that it's a wise idea to release about 1 trillion Uganda shillings just like that without any preparation. It would have required piloting. You go in a few places, you get technical people, they go and train the people whom you'd want to absorb this money, and once they are sufficiently trained, then you release money to them, you give them support services, and if 10 out of 10, 5 succeed, then you know why the 5 have failed. You study the cause of failure, then you redesign, and then by the time you expand, if you have started maybe with 10 districts, then you see how to keep on 20, 30, 40, 50 districts until you cover all the districts. But just get money and just throw it at people. You know, they're not prepared, they're not trained, they have got their own problems. Someone wants to pay for, you know, debt because of medical attention. Maybe they lack school fees, maybe this, maybe that. There are so many issues. And if the training is not done adequately, for them, the most immediate thing, the moment they get that money, is not invested. So they eat the seed. But see, in life, when you eat the seed, then you can't harvest. Can you? Because if the mindset is not trained, someone is given a kilo of beans, but they have no sauce at home. So the mind now has to start debating. The family is there, there's no sauce. Okay, there are sweet potatoes or Irish potatoes or batoke, but there's no sauce. So what do? So there are two options. Eat the seed. Someone will eat the seed. Someone will eat the seed. But there's also someone who is trying to say, you know what, we will eat salt for the next 3 months. And we're going to plant this 1 kilo of beans. And after 3 months, we're going to harvest maybe 3 sacks. Now I am going to retain some to eat for the next 3 months, but sell to build capital. All that is training. Don't assume that everybody is in that state of mind to be disciplined, not to eat the seed. I hope they did. The what? You know. We want quick fixes. Again, the mindset of quick fixes now in this country is so rampant. Quick fixes, shortcuts. You know, there are natural laws. In life, there are natural laws. There are natural laws which you have to follow. Whether you know them or you don't know them, they work. It is like the law of gravity. You stand up on top of the tallest building here, you jump. Whether you know about gravity or you don't, you will fall. Yes, the natural laws. You know, the law of sowing and reaping. These are things we live with. All of us come from, you know, agricultural background, but we don't relate it to life. Because we all know that if you plant a maize seed, inherent within it is a number of months that it will take to grow until harvest, right? That's a natural law. Inherent within that seed is that maize is 3 or 4 months. The harvest of seed is normally around 4 months, right? For beans is 3 months? 3 months. So inherent in it, you must know that it is 3 months. So when you plant a bean, you know that there's a waiting period of 3 months. Your anxiety is not going to enable you to harvest it after 1 month. So if you are planting a bean, know that there's a waiting period of 3 months. That's one. 2, know that there are a number of things you'll have to do. First, you'll have had to open the soil, then you'll plant the bean. You know that you'll have to weed. And you must also be prepared in the event, for example, that there's a dry season, you must have been prepared to irrigate. If it's attacked by anything, you must have been prepared to get services to either spray, to kill the what? Whatever disease would have attacked it. Then, you know, now you harvest it. And then once you harvest it, then you have to determine there what to do. Some crops even take a longer process, like millet is even more complicated. More complicated. Because for millet, you have to grow it, then you have to weed it, then you have to go and guard against the birds, then you have to harvest it, then you have to dry it, then you have to kuhura. First no bwanika, no buhura, no kushekura, no bubabirira, no bwera, umwe no butamu na muhogo, no busa, no bona kubugoya, kuburya. Bitara umuntu okwena ngo babibe erizoba wike kwija azayo kubusharura no busharura. It's a process. But now we have a culture which has literally made it seem that you can make shortcuts. And it's rampant in our society. And that's why when everybody is trying to make shortcuts, the whole society is in a mess. And then people ask, what's the problem? The problem is the mindset. The problem is the mindset. And again, there are certain, you know, many people also don't recognize that if that's what you are doing, why are you blaming someone else who's doing the same thing? For you want to do it, but you want the other person to do something right. The Bible says, Do unto others as you'd want done unto you. If you think shortcuts will help you, why do you think the other one also isn't going to take shortcuts? So if you take shortcuts and where you go, you find the other person also taking shortcuts. The other one is taking shortcuts in the judicial system, in the hospital, in the education, wherever. Everyone is making shortcuts for money. The relationship with money, again, which has distorted everything. People go out to look for money instead of giving a service or doing something that they are called to do, the outcomes of which is money. Money becomes an outcome. It doesn't become the focal point. But the mindset here is everybody is pursuing money. They are not pursuing doing a service, and then whether it is business, whatever it is, and then the outcome is money. Here, the money is the determining factor. I keep talking about this. That's why I find even the professions, as I end, in the professions. A while back, people's decisions in what to do was not based on money. People's decisions on what to do was because of the calling that was within them. What the bishop was talking about here, everybody is purposed by God, is wired to do something. When you search for it, you will know it. Because most times what you are called to do, you can do it even for free because you enjoy it. That's how we are all wired. There's no human being on this planet who is not purposed to do something, but we never search, of course. And the educational system does not direct us to go through that searching process to know that this is my calling, for them to detect or to find out what that is. So, career decisions now, they say, where is the money? If it is in medicine, that's where they go. If it is in law, they go to become lawyers. So if you are not called to be a lawyer, you are going there for money, you are going to do many wrong things because justice doesn't mean anything to you. You are looking for money. If it is in medicine, you'll find people who are in the medical services but who hate patients. You know that? Because it's not their calling. There's no way you could be called to be a doctor, be called to be a midwife, be called to be a nurse, be called to be something within the medical profession. Because when you are called, it's something wired within you. You care to treat people, to make people become healthy. So you can even almost do it, not because of the benefits you are getting out of it, but because you see people healed. There's no way you can hate a patient and it is your calling. It's just simply not possible. Then you must have misread that calling. But I suspect that most people, it's the money. So there's a total distortion in the whole country now. Because the pursuit is money, the pursuit is not the calling. I suspect that many people are going to become science teachers. You can see the mess which is in our current setup. So there has to be people who have to sit down and see how to totally do a deep analysis of what is happening and then redesign how we can recover from all that. And literally go back from square one. And also, of course, once there is efficiency in political economic management of a country, and therefore, wherever people end up by whatever they are calling, that the money they get from whatever calling, that it is enough to sustain them for their own livelihood. Because that's, again, another problem. Because if people are getting money, whether they are teachers, whether they are engineers, whether they are doctors, whether they are lawyers, whatever they are, that because an economy is functioning, a country is functioning well, and therefore they are able to get sustenance from what they earn, then money wouldn't be a factor in determining where now they are going. Another problem. So there has to be a total reorientation in the country. But how will there be reorientation unless there is a realization of what the problem is? So there has to be a whole shift in the national consciousness by people to know that basically some of the problems stem from that. When I scan around, majority of you are in under 35, right? Who under 35? Put up your hands. 35 years. Who under 35? Under 35 years. Literally 90%. Really, you deeply started to understand the root of the problems that we see and participate in the redesign of how you want the future to be. If your diagnosis is wrong, the treatment will be wrong. Governments can change, and you can still remain with the same problems. Are we together? Yes. It's a mindset problem at the whole national level. That's where some of us are focused. To work with the people who are like-minded, to see how there can be a redesign and a redirection of society so that the future can be shaped different from the current mindsets that we do see. We are well endowed as a country. The resources are simply almost beyond measure that we see here. But the minds to be applied in exploiting those resources where there is a problem. Because again, you find shortcuts. Because people who are in areas of responsibility that would be trying to create the necessary environment for others to succeed, because of that culture of shortcuts. Anybody who gets advantage to go into a position says, this is now my opportunity. If I don't use it, I am a fool. It's a mindset. True or not true? So you got an opportunity in one area, but you are affected in a different area. Then you are complaining about where you have been affected. But the guy is also thinking like you are thinking. Because if you are in the law profession and you become a magistrate or you become a judge and you take a bribe, then you go to hospital and there are no drugs and you have got patients, then you start complaining, what kind of health system is this? Then you go to education and you find a head teacher who's cheating exams for students. And then you ask, what kind of person could this be? How can a head teacher cheat for shortcuts? Because they're looking how to promote the school, to get more entry of students, to get money. Same thing with the judge. It's money. Same thing with the guy, superintendent of the hospital. It is money. And to get it through shortcuts. So now it becomes a cycle. Are we together? It's a trap. We are trapped in that. Now to break out, we must apply a different mindset. Are we together? You cannot solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. Can you? You can't. Even when you are different individuals. If the mindset of 10 people operating in a situation is what created that situation, even when you remove these 10 and you bring another 10 different people, but the mindset is the same, the situation will do what? Will remain. Because the issue is not the individuals, those by name, John, James, Mary, Isa, and all that. No, you can remove them. It was the mindset. To solve that problem, you must have people with a different mindset. Or those who created it, to solve that problem, they have to change their mindset into a new mindset. They can be the same people, but when their mindsets change, I can guarantee you they'll solve the problem. Are we together? we are like chasing our tail in this country. Run over the place. We don't seem to know what the problem always is. At times we think it's just the individuals who are there. But 60 years we've been doing the same things, different people, same things. Because the same mindset we operate from. I am hoping that your generation really is different in your mindset. I really hope, because if we are not, then God bless you.
Thank you very much, guys. A round of applause again. You know, we are receiving this knowledge for nothing. People pay for it. You people are lucky. Kurra amagezi nkaga ahabwabusha. Abantu bashashura to listen to such resourceful, this wisdom from different people, stakeholders. So, General twakushemererwa mnonga, webare kutereza amagezi, webare no kutwadvisinga. So I want to take a few minutes and recognize the district labor officer. She's here with us at Kwase Lois. Yeah. General Nore abantu abantu gambira kwaruma abantu key stakeholders. District probation officer in charge of children, Mr. Kakembo Agri, is here with us. Then we have our district councillor, Jennifer, of this area. So I'm happy that we have people who are going to deliver back from where they came from. So let me receive, before we receive our mayor of this area to give closing remarks, let's first Mr. Walter, the vision bearer, we are recognizing, and then we'll receive closing remarks.
Yes, mbuwano yanjura hariho mushawamanu mukuru azarona yebuzabuza wa msugo kwenyuma. Mr. Kalisa, you can just say a hello to everyone. The DISO Mushenyi is also here. Internal security to the safe. No worries. I appreciate you. I also hariho umuntu wanje utukira gukora hamwe by'umukono nawe. Harris, where are you? She does the daddies, she bakes. She's on our team of hands-on in terms of baking. Your process, Yona, it will be coming in probably next year. That's when we shall be doing hands-on things. She does yogurt, she does daddies, all the sweet things that you would wish to get. Agton agencies, Ntwasima, mwebare kutusupportinga. Dandre Investments, where are you? Dandre team, thank you very much for being part of us. We also have Tari Tunes. I remember we don't have these things in Bushenyi, but we have animations. In any case, you need animations. Do people know animations here? Cartoons. One ogamba cartoons no nakora advert yo mu cartooni chief wa Tari Tunes aryaha abasihubire bava kurebe Tari Tunes no mushikira. Tuineho omusha wanje wa investments aringahi yemerera turebe ni moshe mekuba you are somewhere around. Every time it's a Saturday, he reminds me, come and support my business in Kabagarambe. Thank you for coming and being with us. Those people are part of us also. They also support us very much. Musasre naza kuyihurana n'ibitakarebukire. The team, Youth Front Movement, wake up and stand up. Just say hello to the team. You need to they call it Youth Front Movement. These people are coming up with a big ideology that will change our country. It's coming in front. Don't get bothered, don't get surprised. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the director of tomorrow's business project. General, before I invite our mayor to give us closing remarks and his address, General, the government actually did all that you are talking about. We did mindset change, training. Yes, we did that. Actually, you guys tell me, have you received BDM money? Because we are still training. We are still setting you. Yes, we are still setting them. We did mindset change. We formed circles. No, not in Bushenyi. That one is not in Bushenyi. Yes, we are still training and we are making you guys be ready for that money. And you just watch the space. You're going to see. So, yes. Yes, you wait for the fruits. I take this honor to invite my employer, the mayor of Bushenyi Shaka Municipal Council or municipality. Joel is here in the house. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Those who don't know me, I'm Joel Nkore, Deputy Mayor for Bushenyi Shaka Municipality. It doesn't stop at that. I'm also an entrepreneur with the Hyundai Systems and the Hyundai Agro Stores, the company that came up with the idea of avocado oil. And this one is finding a way of how to turn around it. Maybe before I go far, that avocado oil, I was enticed by an American person, umuntu akaraga America ija kunyeje sari avocado. America tuwa kushinga avocado. I was like, what nkashwara ninga nkashwara. So since then, I went into it, and now it is with Tomorrow Business. And we shall get there. General Muntu, water with altar concepts, Rotarian Nayebare, Honorable in the house, Honorable Jennifer and the rest. Collins, I liked your thing of emotion and money. Companies that sponsored this event and persons who put in their input. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this chance to thank Water Concepts for their initiative in Tomorrow's Business. I beg you clap for them. I want to thank our keynote address speakers for allowing to being part of us. Thank you so much, and take our well-felt gratitude to the Bishop Johnson Tunamujuni, that we are thankful for his message. Bishop Tunamujuni is one of the bishops that I would call because every other, those who are on WhatsApp, every other time you get a clip for Bishop, you can't go without touching it, and it has always a message. There's the last one that that touched me. That whenever you are doing something, when you kora wahezo jirota, utai. It has a very big message. It touches down and up. Kora when you kora, watch kora chawa, tai. Na mbwenu kutura hezaha, tai. Today, we touched a very sensitive thing. Money. Money makes man go around. Money makes man go around. There are three things. When you grow up, you run for money. You run here was gambakasi. So you was to get knowledge on how to make. Thank you so much if you came for that. So if you came to this gate because of that, just know that you have got the money now. Know that you have got the money. So after you have run about the money, you get it. Then you sit. And you send the money to get more money. After you have got money, you don't have to run around. Even you would have come even of some age. Utachine na man goksiba no yuka kuza kurunda nkizwa berondo mbusigazi. So you send the money, it brings you more money. Then there's the third stage. You sit and money comes. You just sit and money comes. Because you would have sent the money to bring the money, you would have invested, put on a farm, buildings, estates, anything. People would be running around to come and pay you rent. They would be running to come and work in your factory. They would be running to come and buy what you produced. So you were seated, money is just coming. So you are a money magnet. So some of us have not started running for the money. Abandi turiyon tuzironda. Think about if we have those ones who are seated and money is coming. Walter, you know, he's a hustler. Walter is still hustling. So we are together. And let me tell you, money is with people. You have money within you. Now, for me to get that money, I must put on an avenue on how I'm going to pull that money in your pocket so I can put it in my pocket. So if you hate me, or if you don't regard me, then know that you're not going to get my money. And therefore you lose it. So, just umuntu kurya rubaju, money is your best customer. That is your best customer. Ogwo kuchira rubaju mukwatije. Itoba politics. Ogwo wakushika hihi akonkuka ruka ukukubaza. Akonkuka ruka ukukubaza. Aza kakwatije katajikata. Before you go to look for another vote, first akakuwa kutanchira wa. Jeno na manya if you think zakuruza mmanongo. So, Bishop, we have to add value on whatever we are saying in order for us to prosper. I learned a few things. One, to have a purposeful life. I told you there is no time. There is no time. Me at 60 years, I only left with only 4 years that were purposeful working. 4. Out of 60 years, chankura kumunonga na mwentingu bya mecho. Ninjire myaka nkaga. Byama 20. Abunesha tunjumara ndiyo ninkura ninyitegereza. Ikomu na ushanju njumara mu mbaga n'imfu. If you just calculate it. Go, this is something to tickle as our minds. Go think about it. Now it takes me back to government. When you say that government has no time. Christine comes to office by 9. By midday, he goes for lunch. He comes back at 2. By 3, he's out of office. Government doesn't know what it is doing because it has no time. Yes, we are simply not delivering because we don't have time. Government man have need. We don't give time to the service delivery of our people. Simple. If only we devoted time to service delivery, there should be no cause. I'm just appealing to people who in government, let's devote our time to what we are supposed to do, and you will see services delivered. In the parish development model, what you are talking about, General, there is a whole pillar of mindset. It can't be done in a day. The pillar of mindset is one of the biggest pillars. And I think the money they are giving to the people, they want to give to the people to do enterprises, is even, you should have even devoted it, we should channel it to mindset. People have their own money. We have to innocent people. Bring all the 100 million of Mwagoku's Habantu, he was spending in Bejesa Abantu, what to do and to bring that mindset into them. I believe 100 million. What is it, 100 million? So we are there. Mindset is one of the pillars in the PDM. So don't get worried. Don't get worried. Let me take this opportunity to welcome Madam Deputy RDC Rose. Thank you for coming. You had told me you are coming, so I knew where you were. So get assured that mindset is catered for, and therefore parish development model will succeed. It might not go to 100% like people want it to be, but at least we'll have a learning process. We will have learned something from it, like we have learned from others. What will happen? I liked Madam Nayebare. Before I say anything about her, you clap for this person. We come from the same division, Nakabiriza. Konkakuna Vendiao, I'm saying this in trying to tell ourselves, I'm not very old, I'm still young, on what, in a way of wanting us to show man to judge universities, but I want to thank Godlive. The name is Sheyo Ibom Sheya Inemwa Hurasmani President or President from East Africa. She respects and she gives back to the parents. Ogunum Chara, Ayombe Chiri Shenanina Kam Kanchugam, and Jiakanabiri. Pei Eyajombe Chiraharia, Konkakashang, Shenanina Mukurzava Mzira Shobise. Ashenyira kashukuba bebine jeno yawombekera kanyina baze kutura higuru barero bandi. I thank you and respect for that, and I wish every kid, every person could respect and do to his or her parents like she did. I really nyo abanje timbine ho konkama abanje bakatwarwa, their time came konka abonye ne ho kweta ba tatana ba mawe na nyinyinda bakore nkoko kurire ba sono emulate tija akshoma, please emulate ugomije na nibyakora nemije yahirarishe na nyina. I couldn't go without saying that. Tinko ndagamba bingi konka I must say this. General, you mentioned something about shortcuts. Abanyankore bagira ngwechere abanyankore bakachufu ngwechere chikajira ngujugujugu nerausia konkane henda ki jugujugu nerausia konkane icyo mugongo omuntu akashanga ekikere nkitogoga yakibuza ati noza hirya ati niza kuri obuseri mbwenu uwo mwago kutambuza yakikwata yakirenkera tikyaza kushuma oruhanga kyago obuseri konka kukyagwire omugongo gwajya guta gwahendeka tikire yongiriyo. If this frog had jumped its course kikaraba mu ruhanga kikatemba amizi, it would have reached its destination when it is healthy. But because it wanted quick things, oriya kuyakuza ati nkwambusye ye yakwata ekiraho yakijuguta kikahikayo konka kikarandinga kikarandinga kigezita. So ibyo cyabenkiza gukora kuriya kiragizita cyahinduka umugongo nugwe n'amahanda. Shortcut things, they are good. Konkora gutwara shortcut thing omugongo takuza kusigaza. You meet I'm now 48. You meet a 22-year-old wants to drive a car like mine. Nyobu amyaka abiri nanye kandi nkiwe. For the rest of the 26 years I've hustled to kumanya hindabiri. And you don't want to pass there. That is the natural law we are talking about. Because you don't want to know about gravity, utinyoni ntambara ndo kutemba tsika hoyemeri. Natural law, we must obey some of the natural laws. Thank you for that thing. Nyobu nywena egam, but I hope very many of you, hineni mwemwa egamu, Madam Aradisi obto aturiyaha, mamanya bindi bakuba kugira bagira ngo na meya na Aradisi bachura ngo Gen Mugisha Muntu yije bamanya ngo yagamba politics. Gen Muntu yatugambira money and money. Ebya tukamya kuna kwatamo kuna gamba okuyagamba naka shortcut. You can never obey the natural. Gokwa kujutunyoti indefu. We wait for you. Itondishita mahari yantuza abseri. Natural neija you die. So nibyo tusibira ntukora. Oro mukuru wanje mu district omu babanyumkize kuhendera. Konke bwashanga ningamba bya summarizinga ebi twahurra na nebindi byakwata with protocol, observing the protocol general. Mweni mubana nyewe nanye hati ngiye cyo kurebera kugamba general yahereze gamba hati I inspire you nimwe nareba yemeze mko naba aba bureau 35 hati nimwe mu inspiring kumura kuri nimwe mbenkanye mugambe general yaheza kuzirata. Let me take this opportunity in a few words to call the RDC. You close this symposium, and I thank you all for listening to me. Thank you.
Webale Mayimeya. General, Mayor, Tomorrow Empowering You team, Eminyeta b'emyaka yanje, good evening. Nabanyeta Atwire Rosemary, the Deputy RDC wa Bushenyi, kandi yaho mask mu ndebo kunkusha. Bamwe muri mwe mbasa kuba mwamutakumanya, kandi nareba ha District Female Council Central Division. General ntwenda kwakira umwanya ogu kandi munsasire nakererwa konka tinye tufunire program elrate today nanyeneho okuramura abantu emirundi ebiri nabanzi bare nazesha hina nargenka shamwenda nandiya aruhe kanka next Tuzza nabo babaine issues zabo na ikonka sha 10 konka nagira nkamba ngure ndebe ngo ninja hamwe nsasiro kukererwa konka all in all twaturiya kora abanya Uganda kandi nanyene CRO wa Bushenyi azuna ogwendo bamwita Ajuna kandi ni CRO bamwita omurumo rwa police community liaison officer nangwa ashara kwikanisa abantu ba burijo na police so tutambara hamwe mirimo yitukuba ntukora kandi nanye niho na secretary witu Madam Adrine kandi nawe myaka yanyu so twagira ngo ntweka kubikaho nyenda kusima general no kwakira mu Bushenyi abamwe kubakura nka general Muntu na iza Bushenyi ninga abandi bateka ngo tuza kutaho police konka general Bushenyi twekiri Bushenyi ne yakira kandi nka general nabwo emico yawe nuko kutwaza tubasa kuba takwikirizanga no mu kibina konka twena turi abanya-Uganda eri n'ihanga ryawe kandi ukarufera so wiza Bushenyi ushemerire kushemererwa ukaganira n'abantu bawe kandi ntekateka ngo washemererwa kandi ka deputy RDC ninkwakira kandi nkugambira ngo n'ubu wakwenda turare security tight in terms of security Bushenyi we are calm tutwine mu buhinza mutima nkahandi kandi my RDC akabe yanabarya hatwire Robert konka umuyihanga ryo na general no chumanya ngo bakawo RC5 chairperson mayor town clerk and ba RDCs nka Ankole region hatwire yo budget conference right started yesterday nintekateka ngo bari umuhanda no baragayo konka nija kubahanimwe kugira ngo nite twinteracting ho neminyeto nambwena naferwa nanyanyenda mpurira bigambo bya general ahabo kuba bagira ngo yabura umukuru gendano wira umuyihango w'umutwa tutine mu abantu nkaba bakatambura bakaganira nitwe eminyeto umwento webwa kumanya itukuruga ahitwahika naituruhontu tora tuko muhando kibanorga nkacamhungo witu wahikankishaka Madam Hope yakweta okokangayo ochikaho na rebo yagira tuwabura ijorebe hate cyacu kuresere kiburro umwanya ohenderizo bortira hazo buriya feraho orumuno oshisho bwire kandi numanya ngo bwire ne sente nico kurebera abazungu n'abachina batakusisa bwire kandi nico kureba bakora kuri no kutusinga so ekindi kimanyisa kyeminyeto ninchira kubagambira eminyeto butone ikora bukuru koreno enda kubaje imwe abatakashwire wano enda kushwera omukaza ine value imwe abishya abatakashwirwe wano enda kushwerwa omushija ine value notekwa kumanya icyo urukwenda notekwa kumanya aho kurugana aho rukutora kandi notekwa kutina ruhanga ukakora na mani nyowe general hiro kugira ngo ni deputy RDC yanchya kugira abantu ntindu flag bearer izobero president yanshohoza kaba flag bearer ndumuhuni womi ngeje ntebe aha muntu ndije ariho nakora ki naija kugizamo konka what next yonka tandika kaduka ko uhunga 2013 kwa munana akaduka kwabaye banshanga mwaje ngweno nko karumu nasisho bwire ahabo kubankani competing n'abantu besente nyingi katandikisha miliyoni 3 ngaine miliyoni 3 n'emitwaro nkaga na pangisa rent emitwaro nkaga na kwata miliyoni 3 nazitombo hunga konka nyenda kubagambira ngo okushubura ko gold konkano kwenda okugumisiriza nkoko abanyankore bajankamwe kamwe nugo muki katandikana nyine miliyoni 3 konkananya hate ni mangu nyina hindi kandi okuna atandikina yandebiroho bwirobwe hate twengizereki hata nanye ni ntambura kandi ahinkwenda tinkashikireyo naka size kakeyongera na klasi yaye yongera banza yemerere sebo mukama wanje ogo muntu ndukumanya kabara sub county chief ayo musigazi muto akata kashwire nangwa kuna kutwaye nzire tukantugere kitwatandika konko bwirobwe buri omwe akari yakwirukanga narondo ko aragire ki konka hat.com no mushubuza rya international market wano yende simunungi wano yende kintu chamani nozo wa.com eka yene yesimisa omukazi we na yesimisa So ninyenda kubagambira eminyeto no, you start small and grow big. Konke eminyeto y'ebirebi nayenda karashange roza pangire eduka y'ebihimbe yijwire na wapange eduka y'ebihimbe gireki oyo bwakumanya ngo nkatandikisa miliyoni zingahe. So nkatandika na miliyoni 3 ati nanye ni supplying za factories ziri omunanye ni nanye ni nta yakantu kanje namwe ngeri izoba na abinanye n'abashesya nandi mu office ndikuza kuzibare puro mukazi yantera no mebihimba bevyankarinyemu atukonga kakabeya ko watuterireho kaka nzimwe nakusharaho 10 niwe nsheraho zingahi yongeraho rwigana namwe nerizoba nararaje abo kubaka sente karara nkahi namwe nuwambugano wanje niza kuba nintambura ningaramu ahabo kuba yanambanza ijobe ryancha kari nakorana atakugiraki niza kurara ntine stress konke chamani kuwakora kasente kuwakafuna wakakozesa ki wagenda washubura wagenda wakora cyone cyo gukora nangwa ni wowe no murimo go gukora kuwazihayo zakora muzikozese byinte bino mugasho utafune sente ukenda kwate simu nke yameye mbeya ko aine myaka nana mwendi wo inengahe aharabire ninkahe entasya yene yinganachi abantu hati nyowe ndi omushaho nambwe no bwara DC bunchankarinyemu okwanyombe ndi omushaho mutendeke nambwe na hati ngarikira yishomero inamburuza tubise noza kushomera hakuba ni competing n'abantu abagezereki hinereve yo kwikaho kashanga ngwe mwe no byeta gato bino sho tingwe na mpiko misho hagire cyande mangutinyine bwegese nani nshubura ndiyo mbo RDC na career yanje nyenda njugumizemo kindu mantachera RDC yo shange ngundi nka principal nursing officer ambara regional rufaro so nyowambye ni nshanga ndinchwanga ni nkora ni nya yakashara ndi district councilor amhergo kwezi hariyo kachi karawezi akaduka kanje karhaya nakakora ki wanshanga piki nindiye chenyanza tuwa manyankana sabarainga nago bakakadi no indani bokuriye chichi so eminyeto nimba shaba maheza kufuna kasente aha musharo gukora nyowe tinda basivyo konga kamba gambera akamucenge ensukweru kutambura genero nkatandika mawe akafandiyo senior 3 my father akafandiyo P4 mama kuyafire habaho kugezwa aha cyaro abena hereze nabo senior 4 bakamba humurka nyowe rose ndiyo mukangezereki nkanta kumanye cyo kweyongera hagira munywani wa mama yanyita yanje ato rose nte ati nkuza kwa sente tinzine konka ninja kwa katabo ka Yuda Tadeo ogendo kashome korufune cyo kwenda orakangaru tukaturyo mu kisibo cha Easter hitwa bakaturiki nkashoma muhanda go musharaba nkanzo mukerezia ndra jantu konkanyo mukamo mu nsomo hwayimi hati shwenkuru wanje arikuzana mama yaza stress abo kubakana akunda mama kandi nanyar kunkunda eji story king kujitebya sometimes I cry abo kubandigire hari so kuna abire ndiaho konka kandi yo mweshongozo mukerezia ndukutagura hakaba hariho faza bakwetare bo tubinda abo kurugacha munga kama mwitacu moja hata abo kutagura hatwa kuba yembaganira mu cyaci bantebyaho nkonka kakuboneka nko muntu akakwatari yoriyo mwana nyinsi yakarga mu kintu cyo mugasho father ya pickinga interest hat father batandika ku father reho akampa fees father Felix headmaster wa St Mary's ampereze byasigara kuna hereze senior 4 father yanje ati applyinga komboni osabo bwa support nurse obwa support nurse tukatuchera shayi 11 tukirininga tukantujwara uniform za green tukirininga kugira ngo abarwire bakwija kwimuka bashange twa herezi ocheza kirininga ogarko aitenturara ojwara uniform ochinshanga hoteka ngo ndiyo muchi omushaho kumbe ndiki kirina akamba mpecheje echitano ukanoshangu mbampa gold kuba tongize bampa mutwaro yama mukaga omuriyebyo nija naza chetme nashomo bwa nursing assistant hata bakajikora chetme school of nursing ninya nabandise kuzayo mu rushenye kuna atwireyo abana baborobona butwabentu kirininga nabo bankurata twena twabashoma kutwizire nyo nafu no muri mwishaka Adventist abandi bagaruka kumboni hata nayebuza nijaguma ndyo munasi ninzaguma nasi nga assistant nagarukayo nagaruka umusini yafo ndukoro bwana singa assistant atishaka Adventist nazurize bitabo nakora sciences zakora ki zarga munyonka nchera shayi 11 tuzomu machuwa tushoma shahi 2 tuzanchwanga tukora shayi 11 turi mu class echo kuchahwire exams kizizire turuzi nareba haji nazake yayo nashaba admission nashoma na enrolled nurse kana benji herze nazo politics na aba district council obwiro bwenkani participating mu youth councils hatukuna herze and council na jantingu zakora bwa council abonka nagarke nashoma diploma hati ndiyahire ejikawa ndiyareve ndijo ko kutandikana biriye binakora ki so ko kuheza kumanya cyo rukwenda wayamanya nkokori warebo wanyu oreka kuruga korre bintu bya wakahe oba determined oronda future yawe ahawo kuba future yawe niwe gizireki echo kwenda kuba niho rachefure kore nenda kuba have to wife kuzigendo kateka noija kuteka wanenda kuba mukaza ine cyakongera ha mushija ningo mushija ine cyakongera ha mukaza noija kuchikora ki eminyeta bashitamyaha nimbashaba butumanye kitukwenda kandi kututora kibone tuchikoze seje tukore n'amani ebirungi biri nkahi mpora mpora nugwe muki mu rugo muza shortcut icyaha muhero ebi byo nantuje kubikora konga ntuje kubikora twatu inihanga rungi no kundi ihanga ryawo aba ba genero kabatarabire kabatarakunzira ihanga ryabo eri hanga katutari yahitugizireki hati bo barhono bakura nitwe minyeto kandi nitwe bingi so nimbasha bangu tukundi ihanga ryitu tukunde district yitu twekunde tukunda amakaga tukurugamu mukama ryo muhwezi witu tuija kuhinduka hambera tuzomundijo ecyindi muzomparisha modo genero hinabachura yes iwe no iza kusheka konko muntu ari kuzomparisha modo yihayo miliyoni akagikozesa jeta kwiza kusigara niwo taji hayo twabagizire kamwe nugo muganda nyoki inkwiho mu bwa RDC niho mukaduka niho mbindi mpsientasi azingahi yokorende kugira ngo akasente ka busitento rya ron.com nashubuza roni so iha yiwe zekerera miliyoni ogiheyo iwe gendo gikozese je no ija kureba yagire ki yayongera nkahi konka kora gume no giro taha bya government nukoko yono ija kutera nduru okoma kweta kuronda karuru okatere vuvuzero mu karuru ogagako karinde myaka engahi iwezamu akaruru karize kagarikemu otero wo kwenda konka eze sente kizirize niwe zigobe ahabo kuba no mushoro gwawe ngo munya Uganda kuwija hakuwatembe pichikuwagore byo kuryaho mu hotel kuwanywa kachipaka mizi government yafuna kachi nichikushara chiye waganyirwa mu ukaroza ho karebesha abantu batunga general chineshonga so esente zirhono zija kandi minyeto babahire 30% emyogeruho ahora abo ine challenge municipality twine kamasho officer district twine kamasho officer office yitu eruho tukozese otugambiro to wite kintu tukugenda je tutukwenda na 10 tutukwenda transport nanga kintu za kwisha yo ntukuyamba okubaje kwawe nuko kushemererwa kwa government age nyowe niwe government tekwija korwa munya Kenya government neija korwita abanya Uganda barya okubaje kwawe nuko kushemererwa kwa president Yoweri Museveni mukama bampero mugisha kandi ebyo nabigamba habwa hanga nihanga ryanje mwe bare munonga mwe bare munonga RDC injira mwayehurira nantabagambire mbashinyo nagamba nawe so those were closing remarks konka twatunga okumanyisibwa ngo there are some people who have some questions
kubuza general ninga enovasiya so kuwo kubaruhawo basa kugira icyo wabuza konka madam RDC wabo takizire na nabashoborire na general na namushoborire nango yakyetegereza ebuzo please nani mbuza ko kubayino ariyo kwenda kubuza.
Thank you so much. Charlie, let me take this opportunity to stand before you, my colleagues, as well to our core speakers. I'm by the names of Wanyama Sayan. I'm not a Munyankole. I'm from Eastern Uganda, and I'm a representative of Uganda Red Cross as well, a representative of KIU. Basically, I have a few notes I summarized. A lot has been spoken, but to me, I believe that little has been addressed in the line of entrepreneurship, to my understanding. I believe it is to me, it is a pleasure to be invited by my brother, Mr. Walter. Secondly, I think this is the conversation which should be always continuous in the line of economics, but less of politics in our nation. One, I believe that in Uganda, actually worldwide, there is no nation which has done well democratically, but doing poorly economically. I repeat my statement. There is no nation which has done well democratically, but doing poorly economically. A nation whose people, the citizens, earning less than $1,000 annually, democracy for around, and Uganda, I think our 12 years have elapsed. Secondly, a nation which is whose citizens are above $1,000, but less than $3,000. They can maintain democracy for maybe 27 years. Thirdly, a nation which is above 3,000, but less than 6,000, can maintain democracy for 60 years. Then a nation which is above 6,000 can maintain democracy for their entire life. So I believe the conversation should change. I liked our dear Gen Mugisha Muntu. He has always been a good advocate politically, but on the poor grounds, which really need to fix economically first. I believe if we were to follow statistics of UBOS, in Eastern Uganda, the conversation has been more of political in Eastern. And Eastern, where we have, actually where we are about 42% of poor people in Eastern Uganda. In Western here, people are well off. 6% people are poor, just by 6%. So I think the narrative should change. We see that we first standardize our economics before we move to politics. But if the conversation is more of political and less of economics, we can't go anywhere, I believe. Thank you so much.
I'm going to entertain only 3 questions. That was number 1. Now number 2. And then I expect the last one.
Ebare mnonga madamu Hope n'abatweta ndikansara Jennifer baba bagambira wa Central Division nyo nangwa nyenda kusima ekiganiro eki kandi cyaba kirungi munonga mu kiterero mungara nyowe Madam Hope ekinareba aba bantu bazaho musamare bwenu konka abantu bamba kibenda na munonga abashomesa naningira ngo butukubantu zo mfiri kushomesa obundi ebimwe bakora ngo biriyo obundi bitariyo nyo naningira ngo oronde yakasento supporting abantu aba nka deputy mayor kwarya mukwatanise hariho bakubambaza ko aba community ngiro baza kushomesa abantu babiri bashatu konka trist mwa supporting age team ekagaruke kashomesa abantu ekabaha time wanu wereba ngo abantu bine bintu birungi konka time yagireta afazaro zomka ogire chiwagirota echiwihaye tureke kureba bakwasire na munonga abikibitu no shanga narebo watungire nkajowero abantu we yahama ayebwa kugira ngo muntu nawayinaka akiyata nawahina yatandikire ninjira mugume mwereka abantu nka muntu ahimurigire na munonga nka Madam Rozo kuyana kugambira reba himbigire kandi abazire nitwe tugume tugambira abana bito ayitugizire tuta ayiturigire abana tubatambikane kare kureba ngo tuwamwegesa kugumaho ategerize ngo muhereze sente zonga azahaka agire kiyagerata ekiyakora so nanimba shaba twehemu kandi abana abojo na munonga tukwatirira bikibonka bojo twabareka nimwe abojo mutemwa mana kuba nimwe musinje gweka so nyona nimba shaba emishome yongere nambwe nazagamba n'aba district ninza kushaba na Joel tushitame hamwe turebe na Hope turebe kitwakora ubwo kureba abantu bambagamba abya parish model in fact tukugira ngo nubabyanga konka no yebuza enshomesa y'emyaka ebiri yeraherra nkahingu bawe bashomesa bona bo kwashomesa abantu tubakwata so hate mwene nico kiterebwira abantu kugira ngo hona shaba raherra babaye bashomesa okuzagura undi kigizire kikarema kandi mukasiga y'abantu abatarashomesibwe Madam RDC abantu bingi tubaragire na no mu group sezo so bagezeho kurenga bagarika y'abantu bagira bata babashomesa konka ko kuteka ibyo kurya nabyo byaguma amahega abantu baguma batinire ngo hariho konka kuzirize muzakire zigire zikore mwebare muno.
The last question. Byahwayo mwabyetegereza mukoze parish model na nemyoge sente
webare mnonga commercial officer Gen Mugisha Muntu General, you're my president, but for you don't know. Mayor RDC Witu. I have a reason why I have said that. I call him my president. Nkola ntokuba jirebi kubyo nechikubyo chawe general. Abayatending omushomogu amazina ni banyeta Winfred Mugisha. But not Mugisha, the general. And the executive director of Acton Agencies. Acton Agencies nutugunjura eminyeto especially ejetini takaryo kuhinga. Then tubegeza hinga enunji ahakataka kache. Nangu nanu mabaraza gabishebo na numu nsharo konka kugira ngo bagire cyo batunga. So tubagesa kukola permaculture okuhinga mbigutiya ombibafu ombijaga bikuzire kugira ngo wana orgomuka oshorome dodo ojitwara hotero gisigeho kora beno orga university omwazozeho yewe sente zawe omukashesho bonecho wa photocopies. That's what we do at Acton Agencies. Twineyo and this organization, it is called About Her International. It is all about a girl child. abana babishiki babona bwine munonga, and we are launching it very soon, very soon. So abana babishiki babona bwine munonga ahabo kwenda ebintu byinji ebirengere. Haza bagwa mu mitego, bagwa mu mitego, batunga ebizibu ebibakubire batatungire ahabwo kwetaaga ebintu bingi ebibatakorire. So about her international stepingire in kushomesa omwana w'omwishiki ekamugayidinga ekamukansolinga nangwa ekamuhereza n'ebikozeso. We have a set of program eituriyo ntutebeekanisa, and it will start next year early, but we are launching it in November, this November. So abana babishiki boona hibari omuri Greater Bushenyi about her international eyemerire n'abishiki abo, especially the disadvantaged girls ababa batakwebaasa. We provide them with sanitary pads, nitubahereza guidance and counseling, nituza no mu mashomero kureba abana abo nibabasa kugira eki bayeyamba. So there are many things ebituteekateekire abana babishiki, especially mwabarya. Nayemerera ha kusiima noti nyine ekibuuzo, ninyenda kusiima abantu abo. Ninteekateeka abanyankore biine efumu yabo ngu eritahwerire aha mugyera biri n'engira ki n'endogano okuturi aha twena at least 10 nibaza kugira eki bakora. Mwebare munonga omugyenyi witu omukuru, webare munonga, webare munonga Nayebare, webare. Nyowe nyine omwishiki wanje akangira ari omupiwa ngu nenda kushoma ebiragiro. Nakora munonga, nyowe nanye ndi retired teacher but not tired. Nkaza omu bushomesa omugisha gwanje gwaburayo narugayo naza kukorera abantu. Kandi omu bushomesa tiine kinihireyo bakandi banyetana mukuru nontakumanya na mukuru ekikumanyisa hana hati nubwenda omukuru akaburiya bakandi babiha katine kinabire ndi nibyinje bitukubasa kugamba. So my first born ahereze ebiragiro last month and she's doing very well. So kuwagamba nashemererwa ninsiima abantu mwena imwe abashitamu mu kishengye eki. Reka mu bintu by'abantu aba bagamba buri omwe apikinge mu akantwaka nituraza tutapikinga byona katwihemu kamwe turugaha tukezinge tukahukingeho tuti oloniho waguma noyetororora. Ningira kya RDC kyayemarira nitubasa kugendera hakeye nko kuyarigireyo nahatokwari. Ndi omuntu mukuru munonga nitukuhe ekitiinisa na n'abandi twena nuko twarigireyo tutyo n'obutwakubasa. Mwebare munonga mugendeje mukama abaho omugi.
nomanya wine n'omushomesa otagumire n'omuteera ekityo ritakuheza. So ningira twaheza hainori oineyo akandi akakwenda kugambaho konka nyowe kantwara omugisha ogusiima general habw'okurenga I have honored our invitation. Actually Walter kwabe nakigamba nyanti nobiha ntuna general naza kwija actually kubakererwa munyanti tuwareba ngo be nobiha. Ninsiima mayor for honoring our invitation. I thank so much my sister Godlive Council and my president, Rotarian president of Rotary Club Mbarara. Nisima RDC, Deputy RDC, nobody will chair but you have, at least you have made it. Kandi abana bakwetegereza wabahiriza testimony. Nyowe yanje testimony next time kunda abete ninza kujibaha. Kandi natandika kujigamba tukweza numuza n'okurra. Hino ineyo kyamuheru. Abama kumukorera inyevugo mu motoka mujyango bakatandikirahe.
I'm very grateful to be here by name.
Gwara hataimu.
Actually, we are doing that exactly. When after disbursing these funds, especially like in yoga, I have some people in yoga here. The chairman of tax operators, please stand up for recognition. In yoga, Robert is there. We go back and we see how they are operating. Yeah, he's the chairman in yoga taxi operators support, and we move with them every step. So we have to go back and see how has it impacted anything. Are they using the money in the right direction? So the same applies to PPM. When time comes for disbursing, that is the same thing we shall do. We have to follow up. After even disbursement, we have to guide them, we set them. That's what we are doing. General didn't know that we did mindset change training. And now we are preparing the circles to make sure they do what? They are ready. They are ready for what? For money. So that is the reality. So we are doing that exactly. We train, we say to the people, we make sure they are ready for the money. That's the same thing we are doing right now with PTM. Now we are setting the circles, so we have to make sure they are ready for that money. That's the cause of the delay. After Honorable Councillor, it's not 2 years. I think we started training we started in May this year. It's only a few months, and now the money is about to come in the next quarter, that is in October. When it comes, now we've been preparing the circles, so next time, before they receive these funds, we make sure they are ready for that money and they know how to utilize it, they know what they're going to use the money for. So the government is doing its best. Thank you very much. I think we are done. Thank you. We are going to, the Bishop had prayed for us, so we can stand since we have the RDC here and we sing the national anthem, one stanza.